All right, let's jam. It's Carmen and Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Good.
Terrorisk podcast. Yet another episode. What episode number are we up to?
186.
Ooh, 186. Damn. Well, most podcasts are what? Are they doing it weekly? Because if it's like a live stream, they are. But how many things do?
No, well, some podcasts do it monthly.
Monthly, bi-weekly.
I like doing it weekly.
Yeah.
No, not bi-weekly. Bi-weekly isn't. Bi-weekly isn't real. Doesn't make sense for a podcast because with a podcast, it's either like you're like the mayor or something, and it's like we're doing a monthly podcast for the city and blah blah blah, and that's that's all they have the time for. And
Right.
if it's doing weekly, like regardless of the importance of the hosts or the quality of it, like at least people could lean on it. I've noticed that when it comes to like Terrorisk, even like just because people may not necessarily like it, like they'll tune into it still. Maybe they'll hate listen to it or hate watch it. Maybe they just it's a habit forming thing,
Yeah, it's one reason why you have it weekly, huh? Is to form the habit or the expectation that there's always going to be content coming out on every week.
Yeah, I mean, and I could do that much at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been getting better every single especially like slowly but surely.
I think formatting, structuring helps.
Yeah. Which we're on our first section in the format talking about material concerns. I mean, the problem with mental health is that it's not really material. It's kind of like a social construct based thing.
I think there's a little bit of both there. There seems to be some, it's probably more like people are like predisposed in one way or another. Like I feel like I have a strong predisposition against schizophrenia that you probably could induce it in me. But I think frankly because I'm such a materialist or tend towards materialism, it gets harder or more inclined to. Even if I started having like auditory hallucinations, my inclinations to think, okay, this is a hallucination, it must be a medical condition, I'll get it checked out, and I'll just cope or adapt to, hearing voices occasionally.
That's not really how I don't think that's what it feels like though. I think it's more like you start seeing connections that aren't there, which can be
Apophenia, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that whole term apophenia, it's actually a bullshit term. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense because everything is in fact connected.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's like normal society doesn't run on that framework. Normal society doesn't run on the knowledge that everything is in fact connected, that we're all connected, that like what goes around does come around, that karmic effects are real, that like, your intention with one action and the same action with a completely different intention can prove like different but quantifiable results based on your intention alone. Mm. Like that shit's real, and it's day by day it's being scientifically validated. Even it's almost like science is converging with metaphysics. I kind of hate that term now, but like yeah, conventional science.
Well, the whole point of the term metaphysics is that at one point philosophy referred to both what we think of as philosophy as thoughts, concepts, things regarding debate, things regarding ethics, aesthetics, what is known, epistemology, what can be known, ontology, the meaning of existence. Those are all things under the category of metaphysics. The reason why you have the distinction is because you previously described physics or chemistry or biology as being philosophy as well. It's just natural philosophy. So metaphysics is, as a term, exists to differentiate it from physics. How fast does something fall, etc.
Sure. But when it comes to consciousness, then physics kind of falls short really fast.
Well, or it might overlap or be interconnected.
Not if consciousness is fundamental.
Wouldn't that be the case if it was? If like consciousness was
not if
a property of matter?
Not if you believe the brain generates consciousness. The idea that consciousness is fundamental, that consciousness will exist even without the existence of a human brain to quote unquote generate it. I mean, there have been cases where like
because I'm groggy today. I'm tired after being
no, I mean,
hungover all
no.
weekend
We're
long,
also
but-
literally talking about something that violates a materialist framework or a materialist view. It does take energy to kind of like break out of your default perspective, which is, I mean, there's fine. You want stories? There's cases where a guy has like a rail.
Phineas Gage was the railroad worker who had a spike drive through his skull, and then he had a personality change.
But he still survived.
Yeah.
He was fully conscious, fully capable, fully functioning.
There's a bunch of people that are actually pretty functioning or fully functioning, near fully functioning with a bunch of their brain missing or damage to their brain. And other parts of the brain pick up the slack. Though it doesn't always work that way for every individual.
No, but it does suggest that consciousness is not, in fact, a product of the brain.
Even with resulting, well, even the personality changes, I've heard in Phineas Gage, I've heard it might be somewhat BS. That it was more like after the railroad spike, he was just uninhibited. That like when he got drunk before the railroad spike, he acted a lot like how he acted after getting the spike run through his head.
Yeah, but less sloppy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Less inhibited. That means he's more of his self, more integrated. If
Yeah.
anything, it's almost like that piece of the consciousness, the piece of the ego, the brain, the sense of mental self got enough of it got wiped away. So then your intuition could start picking up the slack, as you would say.
Yeah, and also it's a 19th century incident, so how well reported on it was, or even the questions they were asking him or investigating. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if after his brain injury, he was like more forgetful, right? Does that seem reasonable?
Of course, because the brain does handle functions like storing memory, I guess.
Yeah,
but you still
that would make sense to me. That like the personality changes, but is similar, and it's just like he's a little bit dumber or whatever. But I'm thinking too much in video game terms here. I don't know.
But it's also your consciousness isn't like all the conscious effort that your being exerts isn't just from the brain, right? It's also like, for example, like your dick could get hard without a single thought being put into it. It just happens. Or like your body could like inadvertently cough. Or how often do you think about actually breathing? Right? A lot of functions that are so fundamental to just human life and learning you don't really put a thought into it.
That's true.
And even with skills, like if you learn a song well enough on guitar, you're not really using much thought.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not thinking when I'm typing.
However, you need to use your brain when you're trying to make like political arguments, when you're trying to figure out ways to fuck people over, when you're trying to figure out ways to like, I don't know, like control others. And yeah, that's when your brain becomes useful, which we kind of need to do those things if we're going to exist in the material world. But if we want to exist as humans, we can't just exist like that. We become fucking robots, sociopaths.
Yeah. You're familiar with the concept of a P zombie or a philosophical zombie?
No.
It is someone who, in all ways, is a normal human being, but doesn't have like a sense of self or consciousness, if I recall correctly. That, like, they're capable of talking, making arguments, like they're more or less intelligent, whatever, but there's no self there.
That's like every like political ideologue or political fucking commentator. People who are obsessed with politics are all pretty much P zombies.
Yeah, or they're vessels for an ideological possession.
I mean, that's exactly what you're describing to me. It's like, I mean, that's really like that's where their head's at. Like 9 times out of 10, it's criticizing Russia. It's criticizing blah blah blah. Although lately that's been changing. I've noticed some former P zombies turning into non-P zombies.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I guess it was the. I'm speaking also for myself here, but I've been thinking over the past 10 years, which I always frame it that way, but it was just like a period of heightened ideological possession. A lot of people care. I mean, plenty of people that said like, yeah, I used to be really into politics, now I'm just burned out, I'm not into it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, both among like internet people.
But then what do you replace? Then what do you fill that void with?
You can fill it with you have to find anything else to do. Not a very good answer. But I don't know, you can do it with philosophy, with spiritualism, with religion.
I think
with
philosophy,
hobbies, with interests, with
when you're young, philosophy becomes really good to like, you know, make sense of the world and make sense of a lot of.
you're eager to learn, you're more ideologically bent when you're younger, you're often purer in a certain way.
Yeah, so that beam of like attention or pattern recognition. If you keep focusing that externally, you know, with all your scorn, judgment, criticisms, and all that shit, but you fail to like turn that same ability onto yourself, then you get fucked up. Like if you constantly focus on externalized patterns and not focus on your patterns at all, it turns you into like
Something lacking, something malformed.
like a fat fucking rotten piece of shit who's still snobby somehow just because he's memorized all of like Das Kapital or some shit. Or just because he's read all of Wittgenstein's work or fucking some bullshit like that.
It exists. A lot of people who have done that. I don't know. It seems like people either go crazy doing it, or they become.
No one becomes better from doing it. It's like saying like, oh yeah, I know some people that became better from doing heroin. It's like, no, you fucking didn't, dude.
Yeah. Or really, what it probably was is that there's just something about them that it's
no one became
besides the fact that
no one became a better person from becoming more political. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
you just
true.
Don't.
Yeah.
No one becomes a better
agree.
person from becoming politically awakened. No one becomes a better person from that ever. You just become a shittier and shittier asshole. The whole point of focusing on politics is like basically being in a state of war without war.
Yeah.
Because you have nothing left. You know, you can't even fight your war, so all you can turn to is politics. And then hopefully you're not so fucked up with like abstract PTSD that you could still live like a functioning person, just like a soldier has to do when they come home from the war. They still have to fucking function.
Yeah, I mean,
but 9 times out of 10 they don't consider that after the war, so they're
That's
still
true.
stuck as a fucked up piece of shit.
you know, it's like Gamergate was the millennial Vietnam. It has, even if I mean that both as a joke, but also seriously. Like,
No, it's a good analogy. Yeah,
it's like it always lingers over everything. Maybe just because it was like the first salvo in the cultural war battle, but Gamergate has a disproportionate amount of influence.
yeah.
I mean that sincerely too. Like the number of people who got into politics, whatever, because of Gamergate, for instance, or it influences them indirectly. Certainly, it influenced media, but I mean, there's also downstream of like the economic incentives of the post-Mike world.
Okay, but then like what this basically just meant was that nowadays people are so fucked up. They're so fucking paranoid. They're seeing shadows everywhere. They're seeing like abstract threats everywhere. They're basically like all possessed by like demons and spirits without
Yeah, I
even-
think that's true. And it's an interesting turn from a more rationalist world we once had. Maybe it's also part of being in a post-literate world. I mean, honestly, it's the internet I genuinely think is inducing much of this.
Yeah.
The number of people who picked up mental illnesses from the internet or were possessed because of it is quite large.
Yeah.
The lines about circuit boards looking like glyphs has something to it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, what this means for me though is I'm just gonna talk to people less, and I'm just gonna focus more on like doing things in life now because I'm trying to integrate more compassion, and that I think that just means like posting less on social media probably.
Yeah, probably. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm a deeply compassionate person. I have trouble understanding other people, so maybe I compensate with it with compassion, or maybe this is part of something.
Or maybe
I
if you
mentioned
did
before, I'm too
understand
much of an
people
ego.
better, you would be less compassionate.
That's true. Maybe I would be.
I don't have trouble understanding people at all. I just have trouble feeling bad for them. Because once you understand someone's problems, and you understand if you really understand someone's problems, and you understand that in their situation, like you would know exactly what to do, and you tell them, and they still choose not to listen, how can you have compassion? You know, it's just, all right, dude. Listen, I don't hold it against you for not listening to me, but if from here on you complain, I'm gonna say I told you so.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to not listen to me. It's one thing to fuck up anyway. But then to bitch to me afterwards, it's like, nah. This is where I'm all out. But that's what I got to work on. So what I got to work on is to just not say shit at all and just let people fuck up and learn for themselves, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
You often are. They will resent you less or be less angry at you, and you'll be less frustrated if you do.
Yeah, sure. As long as, no one feels a type of way of, the fruits of me working on, focusing on my own projects and my own devices, then as long as they're not haters about that, then fine. All is well ends well.
I was thinking about, all the times I tried so hard to convince someone of something and they never went along with me or didn't agree with it. And maybe it was my approach. Maybe it was just that they weren't ready.
I've learned to be the person who's like, no, like I'm drawing my boundaries. I mean, I could apologize for my part in this situation, but I'm not gonna like renege on my beliefs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you have a problem with me, for example, saying that, like, no one has to be alive.
Yeah.
We just want to be. If you have a problem with me saying that, then I think that's just you, like, denying, like, truth, There's no law of nature that says any of us need to be alive. We only, like, want to be. And that really is fundamental to how a person chooses to live.
Yeah.
You're either living for the sake of something that's probably not real and more ephemeral than your life, or you understand that you're alive because you want to be, and there's really nothing left to, like, feel shitty about.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just something that, like, most people are, like, older when they start thinking like that than usually, than I am. I don't know.
I think this is that around the time when people started thinking like that.
Hopefully. For their sake. I couldn't care. It's like just what I've noticed. So, I don't know. I'm just going to
keep on keeping on, do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because, like, I think I've said enough of my beliefs to enough people to, like, for them to know what I'm about. So from here on out, I just got to keep walking it. And then, like, whatever comes, it's like, see, this is the product of my beliefs.
Yeah.
This is the product of my fundamental framework for reality. You can choose yours, and if yours isn't working, that's your fault. I showed you plenty of alternatives. You want to go the Christian route, go the fucking Christian route. You want to go the Buddhist route, go the Buddhist route. You want to go the materialist route, fine, do that. See where they all fucking take you. But you got to own up to that.
Yeah.
That was your choice. It wasn't truth that led you there. There's, multiple frameworks for truth. And I think that's what bugs people the most about, like, my worldview is that I don't complain. It would be much easier to handle someone like me with such strong views about, like, the world if I had more like, I don't know, personal complaints. Like, oh, I'm so sad about not having enough money. I'm sick and tired of the way white people treat me. Oh, I'm tired of these fucking poor people. All these black people, the homeless junkies are ruining my life. Like, I don't do that shit. Mm-hmm. So it must be like it must be hard to deal with. Any person that doesn't do that is probably, like, if you're the kind of person who does do that and you're around a person who doesn't, you're gonna feel inferior. And I'm not sorry for that.
I feel like I complain a bunch, but I don't mind you whatsoever.
Do you complain a bunch? I don't hear you complain. I have to ask you about things you complain about.
That's true. Maybe what it is that it's all internal because I know most people don't want to hear it. Or if someone asks me, then I'll certainly go off and be open about it because I'm not a big boundary guy. So if someone says, like, how you doing? I'll always give them. I know it's supposed to be just be like, oh, I'm doing okay or doing well. I'm way more likely to stop and be like, well, I have this complaint. This junkie on the train pissed me off and he smelled like shit on the train and kind of put me in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So I will, what it is, I'll complain at length about very petty things, but I wait for someone to ask me about it. I don't know if that's better. I feel like it is.
Sure.
Maybe the only fault there is when someone isn't actually looking for a serious, in-depth answer. I'm just giving them one. But yeah.
I guess for me, it's if I asked someone how they were doing, they gave me a laundry list of complaints. The problem is, like, I could probably think of a solution for all those complaints.
Yeah.
And sometimes people would rather just not hear
Complain rather than hear, yeah.
And it is what it is. And I can't hold that against people. So that's like a practical thing, like, I'm working on. To me, that's what compassion means. It's like just listening to you bitch, not giving you solutions, and then just being like, whew, time to go home and be away from that person. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I think a lot of people have that strategy or have that response, but
maybe. And to what end would I be working on myself in this way? It's, I don't know. It's just, I sense it. Like, I'm at the point where I'm not gonna like sit and wait around and like wait for other people to tell me what I'm gonna fucking work on. It's like, no, I know myself well enough to know that I got gratitude down. Next, I just gotta work on compassion, but on my terms, not anyone else's terms.
yeah, I mentioned this before. It's always hard for me to resist giving money to the homeless. It's always been that way, honestly. If I have something,
That's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with generosity.
yeah. And I'm compassionate to them, even if it's self-induced or some variety of different things involved.
Yeah, I mean, look. When I say I lack compassion, I am by no means the least compassionate person I know.
Yeah.
I think, but all right. First of all, by my own standards that I hold myself, I think
Yeah.
I lack compassion. But as for my place in general society, get the fuck out of here. I think I'm doing just fucking fine. Me having to like work on compassion has nothing to do with, oh, my life sucks because I lack compassion. No, my life is fucking great. Go fuck yourself. You know, like, my life is awesome. It's just, if it could be better, it's going to be better this way,
Yeah.
which is like integrating more compassion. However, I'm definitely not the kind of person who looks at bums with disdain. I don't fucking look at junkies like, oh, I wish we could just kill. Fucking
Yeah.
Richie was saying that to me over Facebook. He was arguing with me, saying we should just get rid of junkies and homeless people. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Well, I do think you can.
What, you're gonna defend that view to me right now? You're gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I think he had a point though. I think we should exterminate and execute junkies and homeless people, like he was saying. It's like, no.
Well, you could just put them away. The big thing is that we used to put them in mental institutions, and we don't anymore. So you have a bunch of places where there's
Just lock them up, put them
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right either, dude.
Maybe you can move them outside of the city then. Just something so they're not gumming up the works. They definitely gum up the works for a
that's
bunch
not-
of people.
No, that's not how it works.
Why not?
Because you're one bad day away from being a fucking junkie and homeless person yourself, same as me, same as Richie.
I don't think we're one bad day.
Oh,
You're
yes,
multiple
yes,
bad
yes,
days.
yes. No.
Spiraling out.
No, I think you're taking for granted just how easy it is for shit to really, especially living in New York. You really think that it's not possible for you to go from like a penthouse to like living on the streets within 12 hours, buddy?
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Sorry.
No,
I think
dude,
it's
then you don't know.
Yes, I don't.
Then you don't.
A lot of the time with homeless people, they've like burned bridges.
You've been
with
in
a
the
lot of
city for
people.
fucking 3 years, all right? I've been here for fucking 34 years, all right?
Yeah.
Richie too. So I'm like, it's incredible to me that I'm hearing this from him, especially when he's like, he prefaced it by saying like, I hate major cities. I'm like, motherfucker, why would you move to one?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I moved to it because I love them. And I love New York. It's the only real city in America.
So yeah, I think I at least have enough compassion to have lived in a city full of junkies and homeless people my whole life, and to learn to not fucking look at them in disdain. My dad, I get, he works, in a fucking place where like, they come
They're
and-
causing shit problems all the time. Yeah.
but they don't do that to me. Therefore, I'm sorry. I just don't think that I'm gonna fucking like. And even my dad, I don't think he's the kind of guy who's like, we should kill him. Actually, maybe he is. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But I don't want to be like that either. I don't want to say we should start exterminating homeless people and junkies. Like, my solution is to live a life, is to change myself so I am not affected by such people. And it's been working out pretty fucking damn well. I'm sorry that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a skill issue. Like, what am I supposed to say? I guess I'm better. I guess I'm just a better person who figured out how to live in New York City without fucking looking at all homeless people and junkies with the same amount of disdain as if it's their own, like, all of their own fault. I mean, it is technically. I mean, especially if they're adults. But
yeah,
I always believe in second chances. I believe.
Yeah,
in redemption.
same. The thing with the homeless is there are a lot of resources out there, but it's also dysfunctional. The whole thing's so dysfunctional. And
look,
obviously
I could come here. I could sit here and say how capitalism is the cause of it, which it probably is.
I don't think it's that, because you always had homeless people.
Exactly, because we've always had capitalism.
No.
Yeah, because a capitalist society requires what? It requires bodies. It requires workers. So what does it need from its people to get more workers? They need them to breed, and you're going to do all sorts of crazy fucked up shit to your civilization if you need to incentivize making more bodies for the sake of labor. I'm not saying capitalism is evil, but if you're wondering why there's so many fucking homeless people, it's probably because we've been living for centuries with this sole incentive of more, breed more. Produce more, breed more bodies.
Well, we have a lot less breeding than we used to, but
we don't have what? Wait, what did you just say? We have a lot more bodies than we used to?
We have a lot less.
No.
Well, sorry, we have more bodies in total lives, but fertility has declined greatly.
We're still at fucking 9 billion people, though.
It's like 8 billion. And even then, that's probably inflated. Africa's numbers are definitely juiced. China's probably juicing their numbers. India, I don't know.
Do you think it's a? Do you think that it would be a problem if our population just drops drastically?
It would in some ways, but it wouldn't be the absolute end of the world. And our population is going to contract anyway, just because of like an aging population, fewer kids.
I guess fewer women for you to fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, people are just getting older. Like the median age is just increasing.
Well, I don't know. I don't think our generation's ever going to run out of romantic prospects, but maybe the next generation and the next generation after that, yeah.
In America, no. I think that is actually the case in China and India, but they just have to go abroad for people. But that's just like a weird circumstance of sex selective abortion in those countries.
I'm about to go to Russia and find me a wife. But she has to like legit like me. If I feel like she's not into me, I'm not going to marry her.
The big thing with homeless. A lot of the time, and I remember talking I know there's just one incident that's very common. It's like I was talking to a homeless guy when I was in the psych ward years ago. And talking about homelessness, and I was talking about how I was just couch surfing. It's like, oh, that's not really homeless. Homeless is when everyone you know betrays or abandons you, and then you have no one else and you're just on the street. He was an interesting guy because like he would repeatedly say things that seemed very insightful or self-aware and then not act on it. This is the same guy who wanted to get clean from meth so he could write a book about how the CIA got him addicted to meth.
Yeah.
But the thing is, well, what I'm getting at is often homelessness is the result of having alienated or been too crazy for everyone around you until you have no one left. There are a bunch of government services, shelters, all of that. They're all very dysfunctional.
I don't know. I think you could become homeless if like you get the wrong injury or health condition at the wrong time, especially.
Possible. A lot of people have family to lean on that can only take you so far, but it depends on who you are.
Well, as you said, people have less kids within single per family. So.
Yeah, that's true. In the past, I think a lot of people that would be homeless today in like the 19th century. They were just like locked in the attic in a family home because that was a common dynamic.
I guess all I could say is like focus on things that can't be bought. I mean, if there's one thing that I could say, like I'm the most grateful for for myself for the past 3 years is probably getting in shape.
Yeah.
It's probably fixing my diet. It's not getting into ketamine. It's cleaning my shit up, you know?
I don't like ketamine. I've given it a try a number of times. I don't get the appeal.
Yeah. You want to take a
Do you?
Do you want to take a ketamine break?
I'm okay right now. Let's see if I can take a break.
Yeah, it's fine. We can keep going. All right, so
For the next 2 half-hour segments, I will. I never got into. I don't get the appeal of ketamine, to be honest.
yeah. Well, I mean, what's the whole appeal behind drugs? I think is all about like turning the logos off. What is the logos? Is the mind, right? The
Logic, the word.
Yeah, the logos. So to being able to dull the logos, I think is like a big deal.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hugest factors with it.
So like with ketamine, especially, I mean,
Cocaine's too expensive for what it is. They'll gladly take it when it's offered. I suppose with more disposable income, I would consider buying it more, but that's a bad idea because it's a bad habit or train. But with, cocaine's like a shot of espresso late in a partying night that really keeps you going.
yeah, cocaine's more of a casual drug, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you do it uncasually, though, then it's probably going to turn into smoking crack.
Yeah, or just being, yeah, exactly. Or some absolute nuts behavior. But like casually, I definitely say I like it a lot. I like it a lot on the weekend at 1 a.m. in the bar bathroom. If I'm falling asleep effectively, but I know there's more going on, I want to make more out of this night. It's great for that.
I like doing cocaine with girls.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like usually a fun time.
that's true.
Because like it's hard to open up, especially like in the modern age. It's hard to open up to a very deep and intimate level, like even like platonically, like with the opposite sex. But with coke, it's like it's no holds barred.
Yeah,
I've always appreciated that,
thank you.
being able to do like an 8 ball of coke with a woman in a single night, not even having sex, not even really talking, just fucking. I mean, sorry, not even having sex, not even flirting, just talking.
Yeah, I've had that experience.
That's like the best. I think that will do more to repair gender relations than any amount of feminism or meninism or patriarchy or matriarchy.
All those things just make gender relations worse.
But doing coke with a bitch, all night on a purely platonic like context, like that'll fix a lot. Mm-hmm. Set up some ground rules, get the most blatant misogynist with the most fucking tightest feminist and just fucking have them do coke all night together with like a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, those things all kind of smooth it over, make you like the person more often. I don't know, a bunch of people just become more annoying on coke, but I guess the people who really abuse it a lot.
I think you get more annoying on coke the more comfortable you are. If you're around the same people doing coke all the time, then yeah, I think you're going to become more of an asshole. But when you do coke with new people, I don't think it's. I mean, you might still be stuck in the mode from your familiar crew.
But there's something about it and about that kind of experience where you're trying to make it pleasant or easy to interact with one another.
You know what? There should be a philosophy for cocaine, like how one ought to approach things. Even psychologically, when you're on cocaine or when you're in the process of doing cocaine socially.
Yeah.
Or a philosophy of doing, say, like ketamine. Just don't do it. That's the philosophy. That's the whole thing. No, I don't want to. If you want to do ketamine, go ahead and fucking do it. I gotta make sure I say that because I'm definitely not one to be like.
What's the appeal? It's kind of like being drunk, but you're not drunk.
There's a psychedelic aspect to it.
There's that. You're getting some of the same qualities that you'll get on LSD. Like K-holing is
it's like a heavy dissociation.
Yeah. Same thing you can get on psychedelics. But before that point, it's kind of like a benzo sort of kind of quality where it's kind of like drunk but not drunk. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that read on it.
Have you ever been in a K-hole?
I don't think I have. I think I got close to it and then stopped taking it. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
What's interesting about ketamine for me is I've only ever taken it when there's like really loud music.
When I have dissociative things, even with the psychedelics, maybe it's just not me letting go. When I start dissociating too much, I recenter myself and I chill out for a bit and I come down. I guess maybe it's this fear of being dissociated, or maybe it's just like a grounding mechanism I have.
For me, it's I just always think like it's gonna pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when people say like, "Oh, am I going to be like this forever?" I've never had that feeling. When I've dissociated, I was just like, "This is going to pass."
Also, it's like I was never. Yeah, you're right. I'm never one to like, like resist. I'm always
a bunch of people will do that on like psychedelics or ketamine, where they just like really start freaking out. It seems like a lot of time when someone's freaking out is because they get into that mode.
I'm always just like, fuck me up, fam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most I usually just vomit. I've almost never blacked out in my life. You saw me one of the few times I was blacked out, and I hadn't done that in years. I don't know, maybe I just slowed down. I mean, I drink a lot. I've definitely drank to the excess, way too much, to excess, but I rarely ever black out. I usually, almost always, I vomit, I drink a bunch of water, I come down off of it. Like, I get right to the point of almost blacking out, I vomit, I chill out.
An interesting idea would be like, you ever heard the term of an old soul?
Yeah.
So maybe like when you get really fucked up on drugs,
Mm-hmm.
It eliminates like Carmen. It eliminates Chris. And what's left is this soul that may have lived their first lifetime or hundreds of lifetimes. And it's the soul that becomes more bare as you get more fucked up, as the ego melts away, right? And then eventually what's left is the soul. And some people's souls are very infantile. They'll get like just, fucked up enough where you see what's underneath that and it's nothing. And it's just like goo goo gaga type shit. Other people, they get fucked up and it's like they say they become just drunk sightful, like drunk insightful or some shit, like or they just, I don't know, they're fine. Maybe it's almost like it's like they never imbibed anything at all and they just became more of themselves.
I will say that as I get drunk, often when I'm really drunk, I become way nicer and more polite.
Yeah. I could after editing enough of our podcast episodes, I could definitely tell when I'm getting drunk because it's definitely noticeable too. Like when I start slurring my words.
Yeah, both of us. We're taking too long. We're taking pauses that are going on too long.
Yeah.
We're on more and more meandering.
That's
tacks that go nowhere.
That's why I'm really glad.
See me like snore. Like you'll be talking about something. I'm sorry, and I'll just be.
No, that's awesome though. I cherish those.
I think half of our podcasts have ended with you rambling about some bullshit.
Yeah, but
while I'm about to fall asleep.
I cherish those episodes though. I really like looking back at them. They're really funny and they're really good.
Yeah,
it's because it's of how like sincere it is.
That's true.
It's not. None of it is like scripted, like sponsor fishing bullshit. It's just it's legit. You know.
Podcast is like the constant sponsor thing.
Yeah. At least Terrorisk is not like that, and this is why like I don't get. It's literally like punk podcasting.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because I feel like the more I do this,
I mean, this is really way more almost of like a genuine video log than a normal podcast.
That's what all podcasting is. It's literally a log. It's if you used to keep it up to date. But I think that if podcasts like this keep existing, then like down the line, bigger podcasts that I might listen to somehow indirectly, will like be more sincere in a way and authentic. Because at least they'll know it's like, hey, Terrorisk does it. They don't seem to give a fuck, and they're putting themselves out there. Yeah. The least I could do with my 100,000 subscribers is like touch upon that authenticity, sincerity, and spontaneity. I mean, honestly, the only other guy that really like does it like that and who's really huge is probably the Sam Hyde crew, you know. But they have like, you know, more years on me. They have more experience.
But they're all like been doing a bit for so long. It's their entire self.
And also they come from like, honestly, not like the most prestigious, you know, pedigree, but they all come from fairly like wide enough stock where it's like, yeah, they, you know, they got a good education, they got good heads on their shoulders, and, you know, and yeah, they might have some like abrasive feelings about things, but fuck, so do I, and so do a lot of people I respect, even, you know. And no matter what you say, make of their personalities, their beliefs, their ideas, whatever, they do the work. And that's a silent part of everyone's success. Like that's the part that you can't, no matter how shitty a person is that you hate, no matter how much you're trying to take them down, no matter how much dirt you have on them, hard work is one of those qualities that can never, ever, ever be erased.
That's true.
And that's why people
rich, poor.
That's why they try to make fun of it at first. When they see like hard work early on in a person, they're like, "Oh, you're a try hard. You got to try hard. So you got to try so hard." But then like once that try hard quality starts producing like tangible benefits that people get jealous of, then suddenly it becomes a respectable trait, you know? And it's really not about the trying hard, quote unquote. It's about showing up, like we were saying before. Because that's the hardest thing of all.
Much of life is showing up, keeping a routine schedule.
Yeah, it's not the intensity of doing the act. It's the consistency of actually getting it done every day. I mean, that's why I literally never mind. Like my whole shtick, literally my whole meme about myself is saying like I'm just a regular guy on the internet, because one, it's true, and two, so what? Like it's perfectly fine. In fact, I think I would find it funny if anyone would ever get offended by such a statement coming from me, you know? And either way, it's like, no, you're worse, or it's like, stop lying. It's like, either way, it's like hilarious, you know? And this is why pattern recognition is true intelligence.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, it's funny because we are in agreement and actual understanding of IQ in that way.
Yeah. But then what I don't fully buy is that it's hereditary. Or necessarily like contingent on biology.
Okay, fair enough.
I think pattern recognition can be developed.
Yeah, I think that's true to a certain degree.
And they never teach us this in school. They never teach us the importance of pattern recognition in school. Sometimes they'll
maybe our public school system would be a lot better if it was cultivating higher average IQs. Maybe it is possible to train. Maybe that our underserved minority population just needs to be taught to think better.
Yeah, but you're thinking like, all right, how do we change the public education system to, you know, cultivate higher average IQ?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to do it. That can't happen.
No, I'm thinking how to cultivate better pattern recognition. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about IQ. I care about pattern recognition, which just so happens to be IQ.
It overlaps with it so much, yeah.
It does overlap with it so much. However, I think IQ does deviate in some bigoted ways.
Genuine question. I've been wondering this. I used to not think this was true, but now I'm wondering. Maybe you can just improve general IQ by practicing with like logic puzzles. Or with like pattern recognition puzzles.
Or video games.
Yeah. Maybe to a certain point or for certain individuals.
They just don't know how to connect the neurons of like what makes them excel at video games as to what could make them excel at calculus.
Yeah, exactly. And one's funner than the other one. But it's fundamentally the same thing, and one is far more rewarding than the other one.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a certain precocious quality for you to be like, I actually think this is more fun than calculus and the video game. It's the thing that connects them. It's the thing in between. Patterns. What the fuck is a pattern? What is a pattern even made of? You know, it transcends time and space. Like, are they alive? Are these things called patterns living things? Are they like gods, spirits, demons? I mean, there's negative patterns, there's positive patterns. Patterns rule over us. We like to think we're divorced from patterns under this illusion of identity, but the truth is we literally eat, shit, and sleep every fucking day.
Yes.
So therefore, our lives are literally run by patterns. Just because you can't see them, or just because you ignore the fact, doesn't mean it's not the case. It's just more true than not. Even our universe, our reality, is literally patterns of seasons, night and day cycles, patterns of routine, patterns of emotions, patterns of thoughts.
And being able to see the patterns in the patterns allow you to cross apply that skill, like with
That gives you
Musashi
magic.
talking about.
That's a type of magic. I think that is what magic is about. That's what illusion magic is about. That's what even the CIA and the FBI, when they want to target someone, when they find targets, you know what most of their work is?
What?
Pattern of life development, target packaging. Like if I were like a CIA ground operations guy and my target was you for whatever reason, you just had to go. There's a method, just like the scientific method. First, I have to get recon in. I have to look at you. I have to watch you without being seen watching you, whether it's through surveillance, CCTV hacks, or actual boots on the ground, just taking pictures of you. And then I would have to do this, depending on how, like, what scale you were. I would have to do this maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. To be safe, probably like a few months, just to get a really good read on you, right? And this develops a pattern of life. Once I get your pattern of life, then I could create a target package. Now, a target package sounds fancy. What it really is just it's just a folder filled with your photos, all of the intel on you, your date of birth, your marital status, your blood type, your this, your that, and then it's your pattern of life sheet, which is going to give me like your schedule, basically, like, and where you're most likely to deviate when you're not, and with that information, I could figure out a way to creatively end your life. So it's all patterns. So this is like pattern recognition used in the most nefarious way I could think of to like end someone's life beyond like, legal code, which is what this shit like the CIA does. And they tap into the same shit. And if I look at like a Shaolin monk who's practicing and dedicating his life to Kung Fu, what do you think he's doing? What do you think all that like esoteric Taoism is literally scanning your own self, not just biological, using your mind to say, how is my like stomach feeling? Oh, it's feeling kind of tight. What? And also, like, there's something in the back of my head that I'm worried about. Oh yeah, I'm worried about that text that like my girlfriend sent me like a few hours ago. What the fuck was that about? And you feel it in your stomach. This is why like pattern recognition skills can be externalized or it could be internalized. But it's the same thing. It's patterns. And again, this goes back to the question: what the fuck is a pattern? Like, why is this so pervasive in our lives? Why does this dominate everything, our whole reality, and we have no idea what it is? It's not taught to us.
I guess without patterns, you just wouldn't have the material world as we do.
Or you wouldn't have the psychic world as we do.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have the intellectual world as we do. We wouldn't have the artistic world, the cultural world. It's all patterns, all the way down. This is crazy to me. And like, I know it's easy to take for granted. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's an intelligence thing. Maybe it's a curiosity thing. I don't know. Well, maybe it's like once you dealt with so much suffering in your life and maybe learn to overcome it, through various ways, eventually overcoming suffering even becomes easy for you. So at that point in your life, whether it took you 33 years, whether it took you 40 years, whether it took you 60 years, you get to a point eventually, if you survive all the hardship that comes at you, it's like, what is it about me that like that led me this far while so many of my peers are dead now or they're in the gutter, or like, what is it about me that did it? So you start thinking about that. You start reflecting on yourself and your own abilities and how far you've come. And you realize, if you're smart, if you're trying to balance out metaphysics and regular science and just logic and psychology and philosophy, it's pattern recognition. It all points to that. Even like religious practices, what are they doing? They're shoving you into a positive pattern.
That's what rituals are. It's all practice, patterns.
Exactly, yeah.
You're establishing a pattern for yourself.
And we could look at it in a purely materialist lens. It's still fucking amazing. However, there are still exceptional cases where there's something weird going on that can't just be explained by cause and effect. There's something going on with the nature of patterns that suggests something outside, that's something paranormal, maybe,
Yeah. Among the rituals I practice, and I don't practice enough.
I'll tell you my ritual. I don't mind. I'm very open about my rituals, but do tell me yours.
No, I was going to say one that is always significant every single year. I love holidays. I get very happy whenever one's coming up.
You know what I think about holidays?
What?
I think they're traditions, and I think traditions are solutions to problems we forgot.
Yeah. I love the tradition of doing something on Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, and New Year's. And I will say, ever since moving to New York, I have never had a bad holiday. Every single holiday, even if it was an unpleasant one with drama, weird shit happening, I waste a bunch of money, it's still a memorable holiday.
Also, because there's more people in New York City, the spiritualist way to put it
Yeah.
is that in a place like New York City, there's so much spiritual energy that it doesn't matter if one person feels like shit that holiday. There's
Yeah.
still so much collective energy cooking. Whereas if you lived in a place with a significantly smaller population, like a few bad vibes would affect the collective vibes more.
Yeah. It's also in a smaller population, it's just possible to not have anything to do on that day. And then you just kind of feel,
Let's just do ketamine, guys.
we're just lonely and directionless there. I don't know.
But yeah, patterns, man. Pattern recognition is the key to everything. Look at the patterns. If you ever come across an obstacle, look for the patterns that make that obstacle.
Yeah.
If you ever come across a difficult person, look at the patterns in their behavior. Maybe you realize that person wasn't an obstacle. Maybe you realize they were actually a source of, learning. Also, my rituals. So one ritual that I have is journaling. I journal every single day without fail. Well, if I do fail, sometimes like I'll be prone to like doing it two the next day, like one in the morning, one at night. Like I really do this shit pretty much religiously, and that's the thing about journaling is it's I become the first person I psychologically dissect every single day.
Yeah.
So no one. I mean, some people can, obviously tell me things point things out that I may not have been aware of. But since I've been journaling every day, it's like no one can really get the drop on me about myself ever. Like at this point, and it's not because like of me just journaling. It's because so many people don't do those things. Mm-hmm. So many people don't do it that like, first of all, you're flying blind. And since I'm not, there's no way you as a flying blind person is going to show me where to go. Not going to happen. So yeah, journaling. That's been like a very important ritual of mine. This is how I know, like this is how I could hold myself. Like I'm like, I know myself, And ironically, when you know yourself well enough, it becomes a lot easier to know others.
Yeah.
Simple shit,
Yeah.
Patterns, though. It's all patterns. Either way, no matter how personalized I make my rituals, it's still a pattern that I'm choosing. And there's a difference between like patterns that are just like imposed upon you by circumstance, and there's patterns that you willingly choose and adopt.
Yeah.
The latter obviously takes more effort. But once you've mastered like, applying patterns to yourself and rejecting like external patterns that you don't want, the more you master that, like the better off you'll be. That's why I don't feel the need to wipe out fucking homeless people and junkies, because it's like they're stuck in their patterns. I'm in mine, It's like it's whatever.
Are.
Like I'm sorry that you never learned how to not let their patterns affect your patterns. I guess it's a skill issue. If like some bum on the subway tries to like hassle me, I just put my headphones on. And if they still don't get the message, then I'm gonna reach into my pocket and grab my knife.
I'm not bothered individually. Maybe I am, but I generally am just concerned for women and children when they're acting crazy.
That's a good one. Women and children.
I don't think it's fair that cities can only be enjoyed by single men or young childless people. I feel
but
like
there's
it should be
but that point is
enjoyable for all.
moot, because like we live in a society where women in our society are conditioned to believe that They don't need no man to keep them safe. They shouldn't need no man to fight their battles. They shouldn't need no man to protect them from crazy people in the street, because we live in a feminist world. It's 2025. Women could handle themselves. Women could do this.
Cool, whatever. People can say that, but it'd probably be better if it was handled.
I'm just
in some
explaining to you
kind of way.
why, how they're conditioned to
No, I know.
actively reject your your desire.
But what about kids? I don't know about me having kids, but
Well, the thing about kids is whatever bad happens to the kid, it's pretty much the woman's fault, because it's their body, their choice. They could have easily aborted it with no real repercussions. It's not like it's a morally reprehensible thing to do, right? To abort a child. You could have done that, but you chose not to. And if anything bad happens to your kid from there, it's entirely your fucking choice. Unless you're a person who doesn't believe in abortion and you had a kid because of that and something bad happens to your kid. Yes, that's a legitimately horrible fucking thing. But now it's becoming more common narrative to, put forth this idea that a fetus is not really like a living thing,
yeah. When you're making that, it feels very arbitrary. The cutoff of saying birth is when abortion.
It's more like the third month, if we're honest, right?
Yeah, a lot of people would prefer abortions to happen earlier on in the time scale.
Yeah.
But frankly, I say that as someone who's pro-choice, I don't see why you can't extend it to infanticide. At least until a child can tell you, no, mommy, don't kill me. Like, I think you should be able to have an abortion. But if you believe in abortion, you probably should extend it to at least like 2 or 3 years old. And if they're retarded, yeah, you can just kill them whenever.
You know what's funny? Like, ancient Chinese people would disagree with you. They say, no, we shouldn't do any kind of fetal abortion, but infanticide is okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a Chinese backwards way of doing things.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, we got.
So I'm combining an ancient Chinese and a modern Western stance
synthesis.
on it. Yeah.
Synthesis. Yeah. Oh shit, you're.
What, man? What's so funny? Tell me.
Like, if you're pro-choice, you might as well. But you know what's funny? It's like,
I say that as someone who's pro-choice and thus pro-infanticide.
Thus, it gotta be. I mean, logically, yeah. But what's really funny though is that see, I just want, as a sidebar, like, I want to say that if we cared about subscribers and shit, we wouldn't be able to say shit like this. But anyway, point being, yeah, the ancient Chinese, they were just ultimate pragmatists, because a fetus, like, the possibilities are endless. But then once it comes out as like a disfigured daughter, then they're thinking like, oh, great,
yeah. The baby comes out and the eyes are extra slanty, and they're like, wow, this is a mongoloid.
Hey, Mongols succeeded only because they were so close to the steppe civilizations.
For like roughly, let's start in 3000 BC, go until like 1800, 1900, when advancements in gunpowder renders steppe cultures inadequate at conquest. All of Eurasia, let's say like 4,500 years.
Well, the steppe was great at conquest. The only thing that made them good at conquest wasn't the people, right? It was their mastery over husbandry, horses.
It becomes the people too, like the average Mong.
But with the people specifically in the steppe,
yeah,
the steppe eventually converged to some empirical rule structure, right? There was an emperor at the top. Now the thing is, like, to become the emperor of the steppe, you had to fight. You had to be like literally the biggest swinging dick, the hardest swinging sword. And ironically, if you were one of the brothers that didn't win that conquest, that lost, you had to serve the one that won, right?
Yeah.
But the one that won was the strongest one, but he didn't go out to conquer shit. It was the weaker, inferior ones, the losers, that had to go out, lead the steppe so that they could conquer external lands, and that's historical.
I mean, a lot of that's actually within a fatherly structure, or patriarchal structure, where a retiring father warrior sends his sons out so they're not causing problems in the homeland. It's like a social structure, organization that allowed rapid expansion.
But then where did they fuck up? It was
what, Mongols?
No, the steppe.
Basically, steppe for like 4,000 years, everywhere in Eurasia is constantly battling off or having cultural influence from steppe tribes.
Yeah.
By I don't know, 1800, maybe 1900 for sure. The advancements in gunpowder and civilizational organization in all these various states, and numbers, raw numbers.
Oh yeah, that's what developed into like what, say like Turkey and
Yeah, I mean, but Mongolia was like the last time you have a big steppe invasion is like the Ming Dynasty in like 1680 or something is overturned by Jurchen tribes and becomes the Qing Dynasty for the next 300 years. But that's like, I'm sure there's other skirmishes or things in Central Asia.
I think Koreans are the most Mongolian-like of the Sino-East Asians.
Yeah, I could see that, particularly up north or whatever. You have very Altaic features.
Because I look at the qualities like
Altaic meaning like Turkic,
like culturally as Koreans, like they only succeed when they're put in tough situations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, to me, that's a very Mongolian characteristic.
Let me ask you this. We both know that a huge part of history is driven by and in response to steppe cultures. And by steppe cultures, this is Mongols, the Huns, the Xiongnu in like 500 BC in China, frankly, ancient Indo-Aryan Yamnaya invaders. And yet it is not much commented upon besides the occasional like military history guy. Like this has been something that was a huge part of human civilization for people in Eurasia for thousands of years, and it hasn't been an issue since. We're like, let's say 200 years past any steppe nomad risk.
Of course. Unless like we get like wasteland Mad Max culture like somehow brought upon us.
The same kind of cultural behavior, yeah, replicates. So when horses were introduced to northern Native Americans, like the Comanche, they stole horses from the Spanish in like 1540 or something. By 1600, 1700, they had whole herds of horses. 1700s. Comancheria was this large steppe nomad-like tribal confederation of northern Native Americans that were having constant slave raids.
But the thing is, it's like
Mexico.
once you get access to horses, it's not just the horses, right? It's also the chariots.
Yeah.
And also the farming, the agricultural benefits.
Yeah, the axle. Yeah, being able to plow, having oxen, having horses, even without having chariots, you're able to be a cowboy a lot better.
Yeah.
You can raise a large herd of cattle.
I mean, to me, that's what the Aryan legacy is really about.
Yeah, it is.
It's the people who figured out horses
and oxen, but horses in particular. So the reason why you had chariots before horse riders was because in these older days, horses were smaller. A chariot is a necessity of having a horse you can maybe ride as a teenager, but you can't ride into battle. But with chariots, you could put 4 of these basically ponies together and have a attack vehicle.
And then they started breeding bigger and bigger horses.
Yeah. Part of BAP's whole thing is the claim that this society of these societies engaged in eugenics well in the Stone Age, and they're applying the logic of animal husbandry to people.
Yeah.
And the social structure that had formed was a result of that.
Dude, you got to get a fucking driver's license, man.
You're right.
You got to get a horseless carriage of your own so that you could do work. I think you would be good with like a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Like an old Toyota pickup truck.
Oh, like a Toyota Hilux?
Like an old Tacoma or something.
Yeah.
Or you'd be good with like a van.
Yeah, my dad always had a van.
But I think you'd be fine with a pickup.
Yeah.
You'd love a pickup. I think your choice of car would affect the way you dress too, because you're just that kind of guy. Like you could get any car and you're gonna slowly start to dress to suit yourself, like driving it better.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still working on your wine?
Yeah, but go ahead and open that one. I don't care. All right. What are we on to next? What's the next subject? Hit me.
Next, we're on to we could either do creative shit or personal shit. I have ideas for both.
Let's do creative.
Okay, so here's an exercise I want you to try. I want you to put your hands out like to the side of your head like this, and look straight. Actually, let's face each other.
Yeah.
Now wiggle your fingers, right? Look at me. Keep your eyes on me. Now wiggle your fingers. Keep your eyes on me, but I want you to start looking at your fingers more as you wiggle them. Look at your no. Keep your eyes on me, but I want you to like focus more on the fingers and your peripherals, right? Do you see them?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you focus on them more, your forward vision gets more blurry, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now this vision, no. Keep your eyes straight at me, right? So keep focusing on your fingers.
Okay.
Now, as you do this, your vision starts to get fuzzy, softer, right? So your gaze gets softer, softening your gaze. This is called splatter vision. Like they teach this to FBI agents, hunters. This is the vision. Like, no, keep looking at me, but focus on your fingers. Keep focusing on your fingers.
I know. I'm looking at you, but focusing on my fingers.
This vision, this blurred vision, is known again, like by hunters, as splatter vision, and this is how animals see things. Animals see things a little more blurry, but they have a wider field. They're focus, right?
As opposed to binocular vision of predators.
Yeah. So this kind of splatter vision is good. Now, also yogis practice this when they say soften your gaze and you activate the central column. This is also awakening, basically silencing your ego, quieting your ego, and kind of tapping into your intuition more. Why? Because you only access that splatter vision when you're in a relaxed state, naturally. So when you make yourself enter splatter vision, it's sending a signal to your brain that relaxation is occurring. Now, what happens when you are in a more relaxed state? You are more creative.
Interesting.
So you can literally induce creativity. And it's not just for art and creativity, but also for martial arts. I noticed I fight better when I soften my gaze. You know,
I'm trying to practice by focusing on your speaker while focus.
You don't even have to focus anything. Just like look straight and soften and blur your vision.
Yeah.
If you could do that, then that's control of your ciliary muscle or something like that in your eyeball. And apparently that's not a universal trait amongst all humans, but I think most people can do it because it's like a yogic tradition. So this is also, I think, heavily tied to flow state. Like a basketball player, a lot of times he said, like, I don't know, man, I wasn't even looking at anything. It's just like my body just moved on its own. And you doing that with your eyeballs sends a signal to the brain to enter a kind of initiation of that flow state through will. Cool, right?
Yeah.
So if you ever find, yourself across like, you have to think of a solution to something, you have to think of an idea, soften your gaze, and then enter that state. It works best when you're sober. But if it's practiced, if you do it like long enough, then you figure out how to do it like at any time. So yeah, that's a good exercise for creativity. I mean, there's a lot of them. Like basically, you got to like enter a certain brainwave state. Some call it like a theta wave state.
Yeah.
And if you could enter the theta wave state, then it's like right before you get drowsy. It's like right before your eyes actually start to close, but after you're like alert and awake, it's like something in between. And that state can be induced in a variety of ways through binaural beats, all sorts of shit. But you could just do it with your eyeballs.
Yeah, interesting. I need to try this. I've mentioned it many times before, but I get into a flow state most often at work.
Yeah.
When it's busy, when it's slow, I can't enter it. It's not busy enough to warrant it. I'm a better bartender when it's very busy.
Yeah, but then when you are the better bartender, it's like your focus isn't really like on this, on that, It's mostly just. It's like you could just look straight and do your whole job.
That's true. I do that. Yeah. I don't need to look at like individual bond.
You could do that with anything.
Yes, that's true.
And that is when you're the best at writing. That is when you're the best at painting. That is when you're the best at swinging a sword. Is when you enter that state. Cool shit, right?
It is.
Yeah, you got to start fucking around with that. You're ready. You're up to this point in your training. Not that I'm a shaman or anything, which is funny because I never really call myself a shaman. It's like more people tell me things like, you think you're some kind of fucking shaman, and I'm like, I never fucking said that.
Well, you do drugs and you talk about spiritualism and channeling.
Does that make me think I'm a shaman? Like,
you might not. Maybe you don't think you are, but you are. How about that? You don't think
But I don't
you're a
wanna
shaman.
be a shaman.
No,
That's
that's
too
too bad. You are one.
That's too much responsibility. I
no,
don't want
I-
to be that kind of fucking dude.
I think you are one. I'm not saying you have to accept the calling, but you are one.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't mind. It's just like people better not expect me to be a certain type of. I'm just gonna keep being me. You know, like I'm just gonna keep saying, listen, this is what the spirits want. I mean, to me, when I say spirits to people, I'm basically talking to like stupid people who don't understand. I'm talking about sentient patterns.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say stupid. That was a fucked up way to put it. I should say like people. I would offer it in a different through a different lens, so that it would be more palatable to certain archetypes of thought and frameworks of reality and ontology. So I would say like, all right, maybe the words sentient patterns goes right over your fucking head, but spirits and demons, let's call it that. Maybe that's what a shaman is. I don't fucking know, but like. It's something to consider. It's not like I live my life. It's like, oh, the spirits want this, the demons don't want that. And it's like, no, I'm just kind of like connecting dots here. You know, that's all I'm doing. Because we're taught one thing, and then there's the other thing that existed well before us. So I'm just saying, like, where do these things kind of align? It's like, oh, it's all in psychology, huh? Yeah. Oh, and that matters fundamentally to all of our endeavors, huh? Oh, that matters especially as artists, as craftsmen, as engineers, as professionals, huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's the most fundamental fucking thing. Now we're on the creativity bit, so I want to focus in on the creation part. But yeah, you have to tap into some kind of all the best artists I know, and that's subjective, I know, but all my favorite artists are always like, I just get possessed. I enter a flow state. I enter a thing. My favorite athletes say the same shit too, you know? Even like soldiers in combat, they're like, once you start thinking, stopping to think, you're dead, soldier. It's like, yeah, it's a trope, but there's something to that. Yeah, I'm so glad we saved the red for a second. This is how it's got to be: is white first, then red.
Yeah, I agree.
So good. See, the wine is pretty fucking good, right? Like not like this wine. I'm just saying, like drinking wine is bad. Yeah, it's fucking good.
You get the right level of drunk and not too drunk. It enables conversation.
I think
you don't get too heated. You don't get too drunk.
Yeah.
You have a certain limit based on the wine bottle. The wine bottle is like a nice shape. You can get pretty fucked up off a bottle of wine, but at the same time, you can actually just have a chill night with it too.
But it's not just the pacing. I mean, let's basically like wine is more aesthetic than any other type of like alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean,
even the best cocktails is frankly kind of tacky, the presentation.
Yeah, and the flavor profiling and all that.
Yeah,
it's like a chick with like a lot of makeup and some really skanky dress, whereas a bottle of wine is like just a nice, wholesome, you know, girl.
I'd rather drink liquor or beer. I mean, I'm a liquor drinker, but that's just within my personality.
I think liquor is like a chick with like a mental disorder. Like she's hot as fuck, but
yeah, that fits me well.
Yeah, but wine is just a nice, wholesome lady, you know. But yeah, I've been liking a lot of wine. It's because it's not that strong. It has to rely more on the flavor experience, which even if you don't care about it, you still pay attention to more of it. Like the more wine you drink, the more differences you notice, and you're like, oh. I also think wine like is out of all the alcohol, it fosters creativity the best, because sometimes like a lot of my music making would involve like me like sitting in front of my computer or my instruments at home alone, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do this sober, and like I could just do it on weed, which is good, but alcohol has its own like je ne sais to it.
Yeah,
and I tried beer, too drunk, it's too bloaty. I tried liquor, I get way too drunk.
Yeah,
but wine, when I'm like creating, it's just
the right level.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm doing tasks, my favorite is usually like just a couple of fingers of scotch. Like if I had to do a work day at an office every day, every morning, if you give me like 2 fingers of scotch neat, I would be able to bang out. I wouldn't have to smoke. I wouldn't have to smoke weed. I wouldn't have to drink anything. I would be able to get through the whole day. Just like a couple of cigarettes on my lunch break, and that's it. Now, like if I'm like creating, like if I'm trying to sit here and create a podcast or create a song or create like a playwright or create a screenplay, I want wine. I think wine is like, it taps me into creative patterns, Now, if I had to fight someone, probably have a beer. I think like a beer is
Kind of getting a bunch of carbohydrates. You're getting the right level of
It's like an energy drink, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're getting a meal with it as well. You're
Yep.
drunk, but you're not super drunk.
you don't have like rotting meat inside your stomach, you know.
Yeah.
Beer is a good for it's like good right before a battle. I think beer.
Do you like mead?
Yes, I like mead a lot.
The oldest alcohol.
I thought beer was the oldest alcohol.
Mead occurs naturally.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So before people knew how to ferment, they were drinking mead.
Because it's just there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that
And
makes
then
sense.
fermentate, like, it's probably all downstream of mead.
Interesting. Yeah, I like mead. I think I know a lot of people have like it's tragic, honestly, because I know a lot of people have like a lot of negative feelings towards alcohol, which I totally get. But I think like there is something spiritual about alcohol, and I'll put this in the most materialistic terms as I can.
Yeah.
When you look at like ancient peoples, and like it was all about their success was contingent on their relationship to nature.
Yeah.
And what proves your mastery over nature than having like way more fucking potatoes than you need, or way more grapes than you need, or way more cheese than you need?
The surplus, yeah.
The surplus, right? Now, also, as a side note, did you know that to be considered to have technically colonized a place, you have to have farmed it? So if you go to Mars, you're the first person to colonize Mars if you like make something grow there, you know? Interesting, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. What I'm saying is that to make like alcohol, you have to have such a good relationship with nature that you create a surplus of, say, grapes, potatoes, wheat, barley, I guess. And you have to have enough to literally concentrate it into a substance that could alter your state of consciousness. That's some holy shit.
Goes along with people looking for ways to get fucked up for a very long time. And I don't know, the process of new means of fermentation or new alcoholic substances, new drugs.
I think it's more like once a civilization first learned that if they get enough of something, they could create something that'll transcend just basic animal needs. You know, like they could create mind-altering substances. Once you do that, then you go to the next place. It's like you see the land. It's like, yeah, we could live here, we could survive here, but can we create things that could get fucked, get us fucked up here? You know, like
it's a crucial part of the good life, of the settled life.
Agreed.
You know what an issue that always afflicted Mongols, a lot of them?
That they couldn't get fucked up.
Oh, no, they felt alcoholism very easily. A lot of
So did Native Americans.
Yeah, a lot of Khans would just get blasted on wine from wherever they conquered, and then they it just all fell apart.
I also think it's because for a warrior culture, it becomes really easy to dull your sins,
Yeah.
your wanton killing.
Yeah, because those guys were engaging in slaughter on a mass scale.
I mean, because warriors exist on a moral spectrum too, just like any other craft. Even engineers exist on a moral spectrum. There's engineers that create atrocities. There's engineers that create like literal messiah type shit. You know, same thing with warriors. There are plenty of warriors that live with a code, with a conduct, specifically because they cared about fighting for something bigger than them. You know, whether it was the honor of Rome or the honor of their emperor or the honor of their gods or their spirits or the ancestors. Some warriors literally had the skills, because the skills are material. The skills have nothing to do with like your beliefs or ideology. You could give the same set of skills to anyone with anyone beliefs. So once you give someone a set of skills that elevate your combative prowess, and you don't give a fuck about any like compassionate type or gratitude type shit, and you don't really value other life, then you're going to become a very destructive force. I mean, there's people. I mean, it's also the more powerful you are. It's like people will contextualize you, whether you choose, regardless of your intent.
Yes.
He's too dangerous to be allowed to live. He's too powerful.
I'm thinking again. Sorry, I'm just thinking about. I'm thinking about that entire lifestyle, the mentality of steppe nomads, of being so deeply ingrained in that warrior mentality.
I think it's very proto-Roman, proto-American militaristic shit where you rely heavily on the equipment. Like the Mongols would be nothing without their horses and their archery. Those are all technologies.
They're all technologies, yeah. It's all joined together.
And without that, if you gave like a Mongol with no horse and a wooden like a wooden bokken against a samurai with a wooden bokken, no horse, no armor, I'm pretty sure the Japanese dude might fuck him up.
Japanese dude would fuck them up. You put a mountless wielding a bokken Mongol against a Chinese soldier, the Mongol probably still wins just through pure physicality.
That's true too. I mean, you could obviously rework the conditions to like fit any model, but you're right. You know, like if you slightly adjust the thing, but there's something to be said about their reliance over the technology of husbandry and archery.
Yeah, they're relying on that technology, the fact that it carried them for so long.
And also
like basically it was a killer app for 4,000 years.
And it's not like farming or agriculture in itself wasn't mainlined enough for other cultures to have equal mastery over their horses as they were able to so rapidly. Because I mean, the steppe was dominated by what, like large patches of flat land that had no trees and just
pastures, grazing land.
Yeah. Every day I surprise myself with how much useless fucking dumb shit because I'm not a historian. You're clearly a history buff. It's like I don't know important things about history, but just very like selective things like I might know like quite a bit about, you know.
I don't know, it's helpful because I was going to say not a lot of people know about or really conceptualize the significance of the steppe.
Because
cultural, what's the word? Cultural suite.
It's because like I was Korean.
Mm-hmm.
What started this for me was I was Korean, and I am Korean. I am Korean.
The once and future Korean.
Yeah. And my grandma would always talk about how like you should try to marry a Korean girl and blah blah blah, keep the bloodline pure. And my dad interjected and laughed, and they got into a fight because he was like, "You think we're pure? First of all, Mom, let me tell you about the history of like our relations with Mongols and like what they did to us as a people, you know." And like he explained it to her, and she just did not like that. But once I heard that, I was like, "All right, what are the Mongols about?" And then when I was like, once I learned what the Mongols about, it's like eventually it turned into, all right, what was steppe culture about? And once I learned what steppe culture was about, I was like, oh shit, I started using my pattern recognition skills to kind of like connect dots, and it led to some insightful conclusions, you know. And it's not like I hold them as gospel. It's just it's neat to know, like as far as recorded history goes, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's very significant in the history of Eurasia.
Yeah, it is very significant in the history of Eurasia, and it explains a lot about their mentality.
It does. Frankly, you know, the question: why did Europeans colonize the world? There's something downstream of the steppe in that.
Yeah.
Connection to East Asia.
I mean, one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that like in 50 years we discovered time travel.
Yeah.
But the minute we discover time travel is the minute that we admit that like throughout our entire development as humans, there have been, you know, humans from different timeline branches interjecting and whatever. And there's just something about like the northern people in that Central Asian area that just had like intervention from like Nordic looking aliens or entities or like future humans or some shit. And that's where like the Thule Society and the Vril Society kind of get their shit, and that's got a lot to do with the legacy of Odin and his whole pantheon. And it's interesting. I mean, I don't take it as gospel, but it's fucking interesting.
I think it's fucking stupid, honestly, but I just deal with enough wignats.
Even though you think it's fucking stupid, which on a certain level I'd agree, I do still think that it's interesting that the Nazis, one of the most like surprisingly effective for their size militaries and armies, like and just militaristic forces, to be so interested in like occult relics, traditions, artifacts. And
I mean, the Nazi Party had a lot of different factions within it that were doing their own thing, all joined together in one larger project. But
the Vril and Thule Society. Oh, the Vril Society can be more chalked up to fiction, I guess. But Thule was a real society.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Which was all very interesting to me. I mean, what was it? I think it was Hegel or Heidegger that talked about how like each race has like their own spirit.
It wasn't Hegel. Heidegger or whoever it probably was.
Yeah, every
it was
race
a
had
concept within the 19th century.
And I think Jung even moved on to develop it by saying like eventually the spirit of the German people that has been repressed for so long will rise and manifest in, like the Voggenstalt or whatever he fucking called it. Some cool fucking sound.
Yeah, I know. Jung said this about Hitler, that he was a sham and he was channeling like the collective subconscious of the entire German people, which I think is totally true.
Yeah,
and is not mentioned enough. There's often
the mastery over the Gestalt and shit. The collective Gestalt.
Lefties since World War II have said it could happen here. The experience of Nazi Germany could happen anywhere, but I don't
really
think
hate
it's
this narrative. It's like, oh, we live in fascist America.
I don't think it's universal. I think Nazi Germany really was sui generis. Only Nazism can only work with Germans. The psychological state of that regime, their behavior at the time, it could only exist in a certain time and place and only with Germans.
I gotta admit, I do love Germans, like the people. I really like them. I think their women are hot. I think their dudes are cool. I think they're
like an EDM like you.
They're into EDM. They're into punk. They're into rock. They're into all this shit I'm into. Like they're into fucking cars. They're into everything. They have the coolest cars.
I think an East German woman would probably be the right choice for you, Chris.
No, they wouldn't, because I wouldn't be good enough for them.
East German?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. East Germany is like economically backwards compared to West Germany.
They're still elite about their shit, I think.
I mean, they're more conservative, but they were the communist half.
Basically, I just love the fact that they're like earnest and good-natured sociopaths. I love that about the German people. Like, they're not bad people at all. I don't think there's anything really bad.
But I like the emotional dullness of them.
I don't think they're emotionally dull at all. I think they're very emotional. They're
very passionate, but it has to be channeled in the right way. Right?
I think they're not masters of it necessarily, but they're just very leaning towards the alchemy of their emotions. Their default state is turning their feelings into a different feeling. That's literally all of German culture. It's like, oh, I feel sad, but I'm going to turn it into joy. Yeah. Or it's like, oh, I feel joy, but I'm going to turn it into paranoia. It's like, oh, I feel scared, but I'm going to somehow turn it into courage. Like, I really think that's the power of the Germans, is alchemy, transmutation, changing. They're really good at changing, which is why they're masters of engineers. Because if you change enough shit over eons, then eventually you're going to be like really good at pattern recognition, you know?
Yeah.
I would love a German wife, you know? Ideally, like, you know, a nice athletic one so we could go on jogs together and hiking trips together and all that shit.
You can certainly find that. See,
I think a Russian would be fun, though. A Russian wife, I'd be like, yes, do you accept me, your Korean American husband?
I guess you'd be taking on the role of the Mongol conqueror with her.
But with a German, I'd be taking on the role of like alchemist and magician and like...
Yeah, but you talk about that so much, so it feels like that would fit you better.
What, the German?
Yeah, but I don't know. What do I know?
No, I kind of agree with you. I think I would love a German wife, but again, I don't think I'm good enough for like.
I think you're being too self-doubting, or you're emphasizing. I don't know. Yeah, I'm wrong.
Maybe I should be with a Swiss chick instead.
Swiss would be more intense than German.
Of course, you're right. More Nordic.
Yeah. East German, you have like a communist element or whatever that...
I do know this, though. With a Russian chick, I would tell them, it's like, I'm trying not to eat meat. They'll be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking pussy? You know, with the German, they'll be like, they'll give me all these like crazy ways that I could most effectively and optimize.
Yeah, they would be into a lot of the same esoteric stuff you are into.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It's like all the Germans that got into Hinduism or Buddhism.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like Schopenhauer or...
the Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. No, I really do. I am into Germans a lot. I really dig the way they are. Basically, the most retarded German to me is like so acceptable. Probably.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, this guy does math and he drinks too much. Like,
Yeah.
you know. It's like, oh no, this German mechanic is just likes too many pastries and he eats too many strudels and likes to drink too much schnapps. Oh no, he's too into HEMA and he's too into white people. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I really like Germans. They're probably my favorite white people. I'll be honest with you. Actually, no, I like all white people, which leads me to believe that in my past life, I may have been white.
Maybe you were never white, which is why you like white so much.
No, I don't think I would like whites if I was never white. I think you don't.
The biggest white fans are never white. Well, I guess they're Latinos. They're like half white.
No, all right. When I say I like white people, I don't mean I want to be like white people. I just mean like I truly do appreciate white people. The reason why I wouldn't want to be like a white person is because I feel that if I become the more white I become, the more I could communicate with white people. But I still want to be Asian. It's just, I think like a really Asian person with a really white person coming together would make like a really cool hapa.
Yeah, and you're an Asian man anyway, which...
Like, could you even
Asian dad, white female?
No. See, I say that as a joke. How like, you know, like Asian woman, white dad would make a problematic child. Elliot Rodger was just a exceptional case. Okay, I think
he's an exceptional case, but yeah, as far as hoppas go, I've seen a higher caliber among Asian dad, white female.
I think for the most part, it's not that it would be better. It's not that it would be worse. I just think like Asian white mixes interest me the most. If I see the world with more like Asian white people, it's like I think like I'll be really interested into what they would produce. But you know what? I could say the same thing about like if I saw more Asian blacks, if I saw more Asian Indians, Asian Hindus, if I saw more Asian Latinos. Either way, I like the idea of more Asian in all the other fucking, you know, races.
Yeah, understandably so.
I'm sorry if it makes the average penis size smaller. That's the one, you know.
That's the sacrifice society has to make
to
have a more conscientious population. like the devil's bargain of eugenics is everyone's penis gets smaller, but everyone is more pro-social, higher IQ or conscientious.
I just want to apologize for that in advance in case we collectively decide to be more Asian in the world. I'm sorry if the penises get smaller. I truly do apologize. All I'm saying is that I'm just more interested in what that kind of combination would produce. Like, imagine if like 1 million Chinese people just like immigrated into Haiti and somehow Haiti became more Blasian because of all those fucking like Chinese.
This has been a theory of mine, is that the gender imbalance in China will lead to Chinese men going to African countries to impregnate women.
And they're going to make a crazy type of person, honestly.
Yeah, a whole new race of Blasians will emerge.
I think I think the idea of Blasians terrify me. They will be the most like Neanderthals.
Really? Why is that?
Because they will be super autistic but super physically capable.
This is brilliant race science, man. We're gonna recreate Neanderthals by creating Blasians from Asian males and black females.
Dude, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be insane and it's gonna be crazy, and I'm here for it, man. I can't wait to see that. That's good. No, but what's funny because it's probably true.
I agree. This is like that tweet I got a lot of motion with on Twitter where I said we should allow Indian males to immigrate to America.
Dude, first of all, Blasians would conquer basketball. They would conquer baseball. They would conquer particle physics.
One has already conquered golf.
You're right. They would conquer MMA. Yeah. They would Dude, I'm terrified of all these fucking Yasuke ass, Michael Jordan ass motherfuckers, you know, just like taking over the world. Like, fucking, imagine like half Donnie Yen, half Shaquille O'Neal. Like, come on.
Damn, unstoppable, yeah.
Like, their dicks would be normal size. and they would be like all like 120 IQ. You know, like it would be insane, dude. It would be crazy. I'm actually looking forward to it.
You create a genuine Blasian Ubermensch.
This is why Elon Musk is pushing Neuralink. He's like, without Neuralink, we can't compete with what's coming. Right?
Neural, as a racist South African, he needs to create Neuralink to fight the coming Blasian race.
We need a cyberpunk edge to come up against the future, the Neanderthals 2.0.
Yeah,
or Neanderthals squared, I should say, or cubed.
But even then, like, sub-Saharan Africans have the lowest Neanderthal ancestry. I think East Asians have the highest Neanderthal ancestry. So you combine it together and you average out to the same ancestry as, like, whites.
Man, after all the mixing's done, all of like the world is just gonna be like Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. It's all of the humans are just gonna.
No, it was previously like that in the distant past. It's far less like that now. The future of the entire world is Brazil.
I say the Philippines.
Oh God, which is more nightmarish? How would you feel about a Filipino Brazilian?
She'd probably be hot, but she'd probably make my life a living hell.
Yeah, I agree. She'll be like one of the most psycho bitches you ever met, and she'll probably look like a short, thinner Kardashian. Like the same, like, naturally occurring ratios as a Kardashian, but
slamming ass, big tits, pretty
but
face.
She's 5'2", and you can't tell if she's.
And like, I wake up to a knife to my balls, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I saw you dreaming about another bitch." Like, I'm like, "What?"
What? Yeah, not only did I dream of you cheating on me, it's like I saw into your dreams and you were cheating on me.
So I gotta cut your balls off now.
Yeah,
that'll be hot though. I'd be into it.
Yeah, relatable.
Yeah, I think if you're crazy, you gotta at least be like, hot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna be hot, you don't have to be that crazy. But you know, I also do. I know a lot of men, like misogynists, who like to criticize women for getting plastic surgery. I don't criticize plastic surgery. I don't suggest it. I never recommend it. I don't think any woman. I don't even think women should go on birth control. But if they are on birth control and if they do get plastic surgery, I will never think anything less of them. Honestly.
Yeah.
I think if you know, like, it's fine. The only thing is, it's like you can't be upset if your kids turn out ugly.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
But then I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that one case with the woman who got plastic surgery and she married like this rich dude, and they had a kid.
And the kid was ugly,
and they were like, "What's going on?" And she admitted that like she got plastic surgery, and it was like a big hullabaloo. But I wouldn't be like that, dude. I would be like, oh, you should have just told me. Like, come on. You think I give a fuck?
How are you doing on segment time?
We got 3 minutes on creation, but I think we've been doing good on the creative end.
Yeah, we have.
So far, what did we cover? We covered race science.
Yeah.
We covered pattern recognition
of children, pattern recognition, creating patterns, artistic process, flow states. What's to your vision? Clearing it, broadening it, fuzzing. What do you do to your vision?
Soften your gaze.
Soften your gaze.
So put your hands out like this in your peripherals, wiggle your fingers, look straight, and just like focus more on your fingers. And then stop wiggling and keep that softened gaze. And then once you're in this state, you could write better, you could fight better, you could do anything. But it takes chi energy to maintain that.
Yeah.
So you got to like harness that chi, and certain things disrupt your chi flow, like eating meat, drinking too much liquor, beer, killing people, saying mean things about yourself, like intuitively you know all the answers. Just follow the monks. Follow like the Asian monks, the Arabic monks, the Christian monks. The monks know the deal. They're just so in there locked into their religion, but their patterns are on point. I think religions are like training wheels to teach you pattern recognition, like advanced.
There's something there, but it's not the entirety of it. A big part of religion is the community.
Yeah, I say God. You know, like I know I give a lot of lip service to God, but to me, God is just connection. in the most materialistic way to put it.
I think
it's-
another thing is that in the past, religion or churches, it was a place to meet people way more.
they still are.
Still are, yeah.
If you're a Korean, if you're a Korean parent and you have a daughter, and you want any hope of her having a Korean husband, she has to go to church.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If you have a son, even now as a Korean American, like again, like a lot of my friends have kids now.
You have to go to the Presbyterian Korean church.
A lot of my friends have kids now, and they know the deal. Like they may not be religious, but they know they're going to send their kids probably to church, not even for religious service.
What are your friends that are having kids? What are they like? Give me descriptions of various people demographically.
Right, so I have one Korean friend. I have one Korean friend with a Korean wife, had a kid.
Both of them Korean Americans, or
yes. Well, technically, one was born in Korea but was moved here. Actually,
raised here.
Yeah, they're both raised here.
Okay, then they're both Korean Americans.
Yeah.
To me. I don't care about what they were born.
There's my sword teacher who's a Korean immigrant, but he was raised here for the most part. So he's like, same deal. You know, he's got a Korean wife, and they had kids. There's also my friend, my old Staten Island friend. He's like Italian, Scottish / Irish.
Mhm.
So he just had a kid with another chick. I think she's got some Nordic in her, Norwegian in her or something, but she's probably mostly like Italian, Irish or something.
Okay, Staten Island or Alice New Wave.
Yeah.
You want to take a break with this, or want to continue on the subject?
No, now we can get into personal shit. Yeah. So this is the last segment anyway.
Well, I wanted to keep asking about your friends who are having kids.
Yeah. So I'm telling you. So there's them, and there's my other friend. He's my senior in this dojo. He's my senpai, not my sensei. They all had all three had kids at the same time so far. And so my senpai is a Jewish Italian, like Jewish on his dad's side.
A pizza bagel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pizza bagel. So he's like Jewish on his dad's side, I think, or Italian on his dad's side, and Jewish on his mom. So he's definitely really a Jew. And he recently went to Japan, found himself a woman, got married, brought her, and they now live in a house in Long Island together.
Wow. It was a real Long Island dream of being a Jewish Italian. You have a Japanese wife. You live in Long Island.
And they do sword shit together.
Oh, wow. Yeah, really living the dream.
Yeah. He did the thing. So they're Hapa, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have high hopes for them, you know, and basically it's like all the right people are having kids, in my opinion, you know. It's like, it's good shit. It's like a sanitation worker with married to a cosmetic specialist. There's my senpai. They're both like swords people. One's a craftsman. All right. So my senpai, he works for Rockstar Games.
Oh, cool.
He helped develop Red Dead and GTA games and all that shit. And my sensei is my sensei. He's my sword teacher. You know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, to see all three of that. Again, it's all at the same time, which is kind of uncanny.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the baby having season.
Yeah.
Or like the age of people you know. We're back. How's it going, guys?
So, as for what's personal, well, I had to change my shirt because I spilled wine on my white shirt.
Oh, rip.
But the reason why I like this wine is because they have a little twig.
Yeah, it's like the Blair Witch Project you have going on here. This,
It's got a little twig tied to every bottle, and I like it because they add a little bit of the chakra, the chi of the original source. Like that's a fantastic
blend.
That's a fantastic aesthetic choice for marketing. Like, come on.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
What is that, like tweed or what? Some fucking straw like tied.
No, it feels like it's a branch or a piece of a branch.
No. I mean, what ties it? Like, yeah.
Oh, twine.
Twine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like wood pulp. Or
I think the
paper.
branch is from the grape.
That makes sense. Yeah, from the grapevine.
It's beautiful. I think it's fantastic. Very spiritual.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So the reason why, like, I'm very into like harmonizing with nature now because I'm like, it's not I'm gonna be all Ted Kaczynski about it. Because I mean, yeah, we all.
Well, he was a particular individual, had a particular strategy. He wasn't even that in harmony with nature. He was just like so terrified of people that he was just out roughing it in his cabin.
Because to me, even pollution is a part of nature. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. Humans are part of nature.
Exactly, and therefore human byproducts are also a part of nature. Mm-hmm. So there's that, but I think like it's not about like, you know, serving nature or dominating nature. It's just harmonizing with nature, aligning with nature. So that's generally how I feel about it. And it's funny because the original religions, the original faiths were all nature based. They weren't really about like gods and spirits and demons and all that shit and angels. It was more about
this is the definition of the divide between like the Olympians, your Zeus, Apollo's, Ares, etc.
Yeah, I mean,
with like earlier chthonic, earthly Titan figures.
Yeah, there was like a succession, right? First,
Yeah.
you know, when civilization was more disparate and separated, it was more nature based because they were all concerned with how we're gonna get our fucking harvest and food and you know how we're gonna like stay warm. So they had to like get down with nature. They had to harmonize with nature. Now what happens is over time these tribes with their religions based on nature, like it was all about. And you know what the funny thing is, these early tribes, these earliest societies that were trying to survive in harmony with nature, guess what? They were all matriarchal.
There's a theory about it, yeah. That earlier societies, it was expanded to that. Usually, it's referring to early European farmers.
No. At first, they were matriarchal, but what happened was they got so big that tribes made contact with other tribes, and therefore they went to war. They started fighting, and that is when pantheons, I think, existed. Because if I was an invading tribe, I would look at your tribe, and I'm like, no, the cigarette's in the car. Do you want me to roll you a cig?
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you. Sorry.
No, it's all good. So yeah, tribes would go to war with other tribes, but they would bring their gods with them. And once they beat them...
There's a common narrative. I don't know how fully true it is. I think things are more like... a lot of this is like 19th century takes on the development of Europe from Western hunter-gatherers to early European or
this
Anatolian
is before
farmers.
Europe.
I know before...
This was when the Bering Strait was still established, you know?
Yeah, I'm skeptical of that, but maybe it's true.
Because you're the one that pointed out the wooden armor and connection and shit, yeah.
The matriarchal part is the thing I'm skeptical of. Everything else is, I believe. I think the matriarchal part, I feel like that's an extension. I don't think that's true. I think all these different societies, and you see it around the world, are very male dominated.
Okay, so when I say matriarchal, I don't mean that like there's always going to be a queen and the woman is always venerated as the ruler of all social. No, I think it's more so that like males in their tribe were more susceptible to women's will because...
Okay, I could see that. Yeah, women's manipulation.
First of all, because of how smaller the societies were than like a full city. Second, because it was more like... It was like, oh, who are you? It's like, I'm your cousin. You know, like son of this couple, so, you know, blah 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 blah, and who's still alive is the.
That's a womanly thing. When you have a smaller society, it's more clan or family based,
and it's womanly. Yeah,
women are more dominant in a society that's more family based.
As a Japanese lord, ideally, you'd want your best samurai to be a fucking man, and you'd want your best shinobi to be a kunoichi, a female ninja.
Yeah.
Because a female ninja was most effective because they could play the role of like handmaiden. You know, they could just like go anywhere undetected. There's a sliver of paper towel over there if you want it. I use that as my coaster.
That's a good idea.
It's an ineffective coaster because that spot specifically is
it dries out and then you can still use it as a paper towel. But yeah.
So yeah, I think I also said a post that people liked was that dogs are like samurai. They advance with you to take foreign land, and cats are like ninja that prowl your castle to defend.
Yeah, that's something that people would find appealing of you to say. Yeah,
because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I say it's true, I'm saying like enough people would agree.
So you have your shinobi that's wandering around your apartment.
Yeah. If I get a dog, that would be like my samurai.
Yeah. Yeah, every pet that's not, I'm not a big animal person, but every pet that's not a cat or a dog just feels like an exotic accessory. Maybe not birds in certain
Okay, so when I
conditions.
made that post, someone was like, you know how like dogs are like samurai, cats are like ninjas. Someone was like, and fish are like the kabuki or no dancers that exist for our entertainment. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
he's
that's
right.
fair. That's fair because fish are otherwise just a hassle and a burden.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, he's right. And lizards are like the weird spiritual Rasputin figure you keep in the court, even though everyone
Lizards are just like your Tengu no theater performers.
or like the bishop. Yeah, I've always liked the Japanese feudal system, honestly. I also like the Chinese feudal system. I mean, I would never want to live in such a system. However, looking back in retrospect, they were very interesting to learn about. I
Yeah.
sympathize and empathize with the people who must have lived through that shit because it must have been fucking hell. But it was very like it was more structured than I would have given credit for in my younger years when I'm like they were savages back then. It's like, yeah, they were savages, but they were savages in a very orderly and
Yeah, it's a very socially organized way of being. Yeah.
I still don't agree with it. Don't get me wrong. You know, like it's just still it's I'll never regret learning more about it. You know, the Chinese dynastic system, feudal system, the Japanese feudal system.
Japanese one is so distinct and appealing and interesting because it's so similar to Europe's system.
Well, I love the
Europe and Japan are like 90% similar in so many different ways.
Well, the thing about Japan is that Japan's feudal system was so contained because they had everything they needed in their limited land, even though they functioned similarly as the Western ones. Whereas in the West, they were far more concerned with actually expanding.
You have a continent instead of a single island, I suppose, and obviously the West is the place, you're right, is the place that colonizes or expands to all over the world.
Pretty much. It's because of Northern Europe. Something about Northern Europe, I think personally, Northern Europe just had this intervention of sorts from like this Nordic, long-haired, blue jumpsuited alien who couldn't possibly be human because of how advanced and expressionless they were.
So what, a time traveler visitor to Northern Europe is what led to the Age of Discovery.
The Aryans, yes.
Yeah.
And the Hare Krishna and all that shit. Or the Hindu legacy.
The idea of what, that Yamnaya had time traveler, ancient alien visitors that led to their great success.
Well, as far as the Indians are concerned, they think in more contemporary terms than what we're talking about. What we're talking about predates that, but as far as like the Indian whole conspiratorial legacy goes, is that you know that there was the whole deal with the Ashuras, right, and the Devas.
Yeah.
Now, this gets spicier from the ground up. So from the ground, we have the idea of let's see, who is the guy? His name began with a P. He went against the gods to give man fire.
Prometheus,
and the whole Promethean-based concept of fuck the gods. They don't give a fuck about us, which is very fair. I not only sympathize on a lot of levels, I agree with what was his name again?
Prometheus?
Promethean values, which is we shouldn't be concerned with the will of the gods. We should be concerned with the will of man because that's what we are. And fine, fair enough. I get that. So there's that kind of mentality. Then on another hand, we have the idea of that's the base level, and the idea is what he was the good guy, and the gods were the bad guys, and because we're humans, right? So we identify more with fuck, I keep saying it wrong. Prometheus. Yeah. We identify more with Prometheus because he was on our side than the gods in that sense, in that context. Correct? And within that context, he was talking about giving fire to man, which is basically the technica. You know, the ability,
Technology, the development,
not just technology, but the ability ability to create techniques.
Mhm.
I think it's mastery over pattern recognition.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And I think that's what Prometheus gave man in that context, that's of that specific ethos or mythos.
Fire is mentioned because you do this, and then you can do everything else from
To
it.
you
You
to
could
make
alchemy, to also all of physics, to engineering. The idea.
and culturally, you could you use fire metaphorically to understand.
If
a lot
I
of
develop a fire drill, I can create a fire. I can guarantee warmth and cooking and all that.
things. And love and connection, society, civilization, connection, unity. So that's what Prometheus gave us. Now, you look at the idea of the Asuras and the Devas, and the Asuras were painted as the bad guys, and the Devas were painted as the good guys. However,
Devas are the conquering figures. Devas
Yes.
are
Nazis.
analogous to the Olympians or to the Aesir Norse
Yes.
mythology.
Yeah, but through common narrative, it's said that the Devas are the good guys and the Asuras the bad guys. When it's not, that doesn't really align. It makes more sense to look at as the Asuras as the Promethean figures who were like, "Fuck you," you know, like, "Nah, we're down with this material shit." Like that, you would be on the side of the Asuras and the Devas, would you not?
I'm not sure.
Basically, humans are more connected to being like the Asuras than they would be like the Devas.
I think of it as one is the conquering pantheon, the other one is the conquered pantheon.
Perhaps. But in like Buddhist tradition, the Asuras, how they were depicted was that they were like,
I want to double check that I'm not mixing up Ashuras and Devas. I apologize for looking at my phone.
no, it's perfectly
But I
fine.
wanna know which-
we
which-
value accuracy and diligence on the Terrorisk podcast, okay? So we do not mind fact checking on the fucking spot because this isn't fucking live streamed, all right? We're allowed. We're allowed to do this. There's no one in the comments or a chat. There's no chat here. There's no chat. Should I do this? Chat. Should I think that? Nah, it's just me and Carmen. Fucking deal with it. But anyway, Carmen's currently fact checking
Myself.
the qualities of the Asuras and the Devas to make sure he's got it straight and not twisted.
Okay, so Ashura, is analogous to Titans or Vanir, class of beings.
Meanwhile, maybe the Titans.
Devas are the gods who are known as analogous to the Olympians. In Buddhist context, word translated to Titan, demigod, or anti-god.
Maybe the Titans weren't the bad guys. That's what Prometheus would suggest, would he not?
Yeah.
Prometheus would be like, actually, we kind of fucked up, you know, siding against the Titans. The Titans were just the bastard children of the gods that the gods didn't want to take responsibility for and made it our problem. It's literally all it was.
Okay, yeah, it was. Devas are equivalent to Aesir Olympians.
Exactly. So maybe that narrative is twisted, right? And maybe now here's where it gets. Now we're ratcheting up the spiciness because in the Greek it makes sense. Prometheus was the good guy, the gods are the bad guys, blah blah blah. They were against humanity. In the Indian tradition, you have to flip it a little. Maybe the Devas were the bad guys, maybe the Ashuras were the good guys, and then you go even further to the Christian Abrahamic context, and maybe the angels are actually the bad guys, right? and what we consider Lucifer is actually the good guy. Is Lucifer not Prometheus, literally in the most parallel terms?
The light bringer, yeah.
Is he not?
Mm.
No, I'm asking you personally. Like, think about it. Like, is Lucifer not like Prometheus?
The light bringer, the association.
And like,
with
if to
knowledge
punish
of
and
good
to
evil
punish such a
man.
figure, would you not paint him as as an evil fucking lizard snake for the rest of eternity, as far as man is concerned? Think about it.
Yeah.
And maybe what this could all be, instead of like angels and demons, maybe this could all just be like humans in the future who discovered time travel, who went back all those years to create all this mythology just by operating at that time. to create the basis of what we know as
So
civilization.
if time travel was invented tomorrow, would you go back in time and set
No.
yourself up as a god?
I don't give a fuck about time travel, to be honest. I do not give a single flying fuck about time travel. What I do care about is space travel, which does, to my detriment, involve time travel. If I wanted to travel through space very, very far, very, very quickly, very, very safely, I'd have to also bend time. I think that's what we're coming to grips with as a civilization. I think we knew this before during Atlantean times or during a lot of different geographically disparate traditions kind of refer to like ancient civilizations that were just better than us. And there's no way that I could think that could be quantifiably better than us as far as like ancient context of humanity is concerned than people who've mastered time and space in a way where they don't rely on linear physics. They have some non-linear kind of ability to manipulate temporal states of reality or segmented reality, like your own space. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make my own space in this specific craft dimension travel, not just like 1,000 kilometers, but 1,000 kilometers within like 2 seconds in the past.
You get to your location a few seconds earlier than you started.
Futurama had this concept. They literally had a ship where it's like it didn't move through propulsion. What it did was it bended reality around them. So instead of like flying up and using jet thrusters, they turn knobs. It's like, this is where we want to be in space and time, which I think is how these spaceships actually fucking work. I think they figured out ways to bend space and time around them as opposed to traveling through space and time. And I think it's because like our states, like individually as a conscious being, our individual contained quantum states of conscious that resolve into individual states of consciousness. I think that automatically generates coordinates in space and time. And there's many different ways to adjust those coordinates. We're just trained and conditioned to understand only very specific ways to adjust those coordinates. We can't think of other ways.
Yeah.
Like non-physical ways, for example, non-temporal ways, non-linear ways, you know? Like we take for granted that you remembering a past event is in a way you traveling through time, just not physically. Or you like
Spiritually, mentally traveling through time.
or you making like using game theory to make educated guesses on future events is you technically traveling to the future or a possible quantum probability or collapse that you just happen to have a finger on, you know? This is why I believe in UFOs or like specifically I believe in harvested alien technology to create like black budget UFOs from like
Black budget, yeah.
skunkworks projects. Lockheed Martin, Boeing. If a retard like me could figure at least this much out, think about what the best minds in the world could fucking figure out.
Yeah.
And if there's any salt to the growing number of fucking UFO recovery stories, like goddamn. Which of course you're always going to be a skeptic about, which is fair enough. I'm a skeptic too, you know. Like,
You ever play XCOM?
yeah.
That's one of my favorite games of all time.
I have
Not so much the new remake, but the original one from '92.
I have this theory. Yeah, that's a good game. I have this theory that like a lot of this transcontinental cabal has injected themselves into the media to such a degree where they could put their narratives into media in a way where it's like any asshole like me could be like, oh, the blah 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 does this, and it's like, oh, you just got it from that movie. You just got it from that.
Yeah,
video
like
game.
David Icke with V.
Yeah, that's a good one. You said that before I brought
I
this
have,
up.
I know,
it is
I know.
a good. No, but I
That's
like
a good
it. It's
example of
a
it.
really good example because everyone could just say it's like to David, you just got that from V for Vendetta, and he's like, he's got to prove
You can
it's like-
undermine him by creating a work of media showing the narrative.
I think this is why so much media is actually portraying like parallel with like a lot of conspiracy. It's because of that reason. It's not because they're trying to reflect truth. It's because they're trying to distort truth with truth, you know?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It acts as a smokescreen, the whole thing.
Yeah. But there still is truth to it. That's the problem. So it was an unsustainable strat. But they knew that, and there was no other better choice, which is why we're here now, where random assholes like me are starting to like crack through the veils of Maya. I'm gonna convert you to wine by the time this fucking month is through. You're gonna be like, dude, wine is the way, man.
Yeah.
Wine is the fucking way.
I'm
The
good,
Greeks
by
had
the
it
way.
right, man. You're good?
Yeah.
No, come on.
I'll have some. Okay, fine.
Polish the bottle with me, bro. Let's see this through.
Okay, fine. I wonder what it's like drinking wine out of a skin versus a bottle. Probably less pleasant of an experience, but there's probably something significant about it.
I think just drinking wine in general over like beer, it just feels least processed to me, you know?
Mm.
And the most refined. I feel connected to nature when I drink wine. Whereas when I drink liquor, it makes me angry at nature. I drink liquor and
There's
I'm like,
too much technology that goes into making liquor.
you're right.
The distillation,
And
yeah.
beer too, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about beer is
With
that
any modern macro brewery, yeah.
but beer was necessary for civilization.
Yeah, it really is. The coziness of it, the low alcohol percentage, the high caloric intake, the fact that you're able to turn grains into something useful.
But wine is decadent.
Yeah.
It's pure. It's not destructive. And like I don't know, man. Something about wine puts you in a performative state more so than any other type of alcohol.
Mm.
Like I think
Maybe there's something about that 12% as opposed to 5 or 40.
you know what me and you should do next year?
13% in this case. What?
We should both take part in a play. Like whether it's a community play or something, we should both take part in a fucking play.
That'd be interesting, actually. I'm a terrible actor.
I think you'll be a great actor.
Mm.
You act all the time.
I do, but when I'm actually on stage, then I fumble tremendously.
No, you don't. You wouldn't. I don't think you'd fumble tremendously. When was the last time you were on stage?
That's true. It's been a long time since I tried doing it. It was a couple of years ago. It was just line readings.
Dude, if you could do this fucking podcast, you could definitely
Yeah,
read some.
Read some lines.
You don't have to read. You could just memorize it.
Yeah.
No, I think acting is a gift to anyone who has the opportunity to practice it. It's because it's better than video games, where you could literally be something else, somewhere else, someone else, to literally transport yourself to another universe, maybe to a whole different reality. Like I think the greatest actors don't just master a skill, but they find like one of the most fun ways to have fun as an artist.
Is acting.
Yeah.
Of being in it, being in the performance, being in, yeah.
It's still an incredible skill, but it's also like if you do it earnestly and sincerely, it's probably the most fun art as a human being.
Maybe that's why it has so much prominence, and there's so many community theater productions.
The only other art form that I could see that's as like fully engaging as acting is like martial arts.
Yeah.
But that's way more destructive and it's way more
Yeah, it
like
is.
damaging. But acting is like it's got everything, and the only thing is like people take it too seriously. That's the only problem with acting.
Yeah. It's interesting because the idea of community theater, that everyone would put on a play in your village or whatever, is something that used to exist very heavily, that existed all throughout human society and has really fallen off.
Well,
We now treat like acting as something only professionals should do, whereas previously it's something everyone might have done.
Well,
Kind of like singing.
Well, first of all, I want to say I 110% agree with you. And second of all, I also want to say that, mention how one time I saw this post on Facebook, how someone was like, when did music get bad and become like a corporate hollow ghost? And I was like, no, they said, I'm sorry. the actual post was, when did intelligence agencies stop making good music? And this is when I commented, I was like, when they stopped letting ugly people play it. Now I think same thing with acting. When did like intelligence agencies stop making good movies? When they stopped letting ugly people act?
Yeah, you have a ton of ugly character actors.
Yeah, exactly. And it's probably the same with any art. It's like any more obscure or niche or abstract art you could think of, it's probably going to enter that kind of attractiveness level. It's like, when did prompting AI music become bad? It used to be so interesting. It's like when they stopped letting ugly people do it. It's like, oh, when did fucking podcasting become bad? When they stopped letting ugly people do it. When did writing become bad? When they stopped letting ugly people do it. You know, it's
You
like,
need to have ugly people doing these things to hold it together.
when did cooking become bad? When you stop letting ugly people do it.
Thankfully, ugly people can still cook in their homes every single day.
Yeah, I guess with the arts, it's like much more poignant of a point, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as what you were saying about acting, it's like, yeah, when acting became too much about what ignites sexual desire in people, and less about like actual performance of a role, of like an archetype, of archetypical patterns, you know, like once you lose sight of that part of acting, then you just become, well, you're only going to be valuable if you're like Sydney Sweeney. You'll never be like a William Dafoe. Well, to be honest, William Dafoe, I think, only made it in Hollywood partially because of his great acting skills, but I think a large part of it had to do with the fact that he had a huge cock.
That's very possible, yeah. And still does, presumably. Used to have in like the 70s a bunch of very unattractive men, but distinctive men who became, if not leading stars, at least could have successful careers. When you look at, I don't know, like a Gene Hackman or a Peter Boyle, for instance, a very unattractive but talented man as an actor.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Have you ever heard of Lindsay Lohan's list?
No.
Lindsay Lohan released this list of like celebrities she allegedly screwed. This is like a good number of years ago. And on that list was Colin Farrell. Now, I want to ask you, if you were Colin Farrell in those years, would you have fucked Lindsay Lohan?
What, Mean Girls era?
When did she release the list?
I don't know. Probably. She's not my type, but I guess probably I would have if I was Colin Farrell.
Yeah? Okay, so you probably would have. All right. Just to say you fucked Lindsay Lohan?
In like the mid-aughts, she was very attractive, I guess.
I'm not talking about her attractiveness or unattractive. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, as Colin Farrell, as the guy Colin Farrell, would you bother tossing your dick inside of Lindsay Lohan?
I don't know if I was that big of a celebrity. Maybe I would just be. It's hard to say because it would be an entirely different person.
Well, aside from the fact that like you could fuck whoever you want at that point. What I'm really trying to get in that situation, who do you think was more pushy about it? Do you think it was Lindsay Lohan or Colin Farrell?
Maybe Colin Farrell, but frankly, both of them were so high desirability. It probably just happened naturally at a party.
You think they were just like both on E or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Like early aughts. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, hey, I liked you in that thing. Oh, I loved you in that thing. You played a good Alexander the Great. And he's like, bitch, no, I didn't. And they're like,
yeah. I have a hard time seeing
dude, you know how fun it must have been
Lindsay Lohan saying that.
Yeah, exactly. That must have been a good interaction. It's like, you were great in Alexander. He's like, bitch, no, I wasn't. And she's like, you're right.
Colin Farrell says, you were great in I Know Who Killed Me. And it was like, no, she wasn't. It's terrible movie, but...
You're right. It must have been. It's probably really fun being an actor in Hollywood. You know, like for that reason, I feel like you would enjoy it a lot more than anyone I know. Like, I feel like,
I probably would. I've been told this before. It's surprising that I have so little interest in acting.
If you were an actor in Hollywood, you would be so chill. Like you'd be the best actor in Hollywood. The only thing is when you get invited to that one party and there's like kids in robes and shit with their like bare butts cut out, you know, it's like,
I'm not gonna fuck a kid. I'm happy to be a wacky character actor in small budget things.
That's fair enough. But you don't have to be a Hollywood actor for that, though. You could just like the best bet is to be a Canadian actor.
Well, not Canadian, but yeah.
Like do Sabian movies or some shit.
Yeah.
Sabian movies. But yeah, I mean the whole like fucking kids cabal in Hollywood, that's got to come to an end. Mel Gibson apparently.
I'd be happy to fuck just a bunch of adult women and always be small level.
I think I fucked enough adult women
to have fucked equivalent number of kids. Because women are children.
No, I was just gonna say I fucked enough adult women to have fucked enough people for a lifetime. I think I'm just like done. Like I don't need to.
What's your body count, if I might ask?
I said this before, and like I thought it was normal, and then I regretted it because they flipped out on me for it. But it's like in the triple digits.
Oh wow, okay. For me, it's like I've lost count, but it's in the 30s.
I've been raving for like a lot of years, and it happens. I mean, I'm not even a pushy guy. It's just when we're all on E, it's like girls get really fucking horny.
Yeah, they do, I guess.
And
yeah, it's fun. I could have gone laid a lot more if I wasn't so in my head and so hell-bent. Like, there's so many times when a hot chick wanted to fuck me and I decided to get into an argument with her and then prevented it from happening. But it was definitely actually 100% self-induced.
Yeah, I know. It's like, imagine like every single weekend for like practically a year straight, you go to like this one venue that packs in like 10,000 people at least.
So what, 50 people in a year? Yeah. Or like 52, whatever. But I'm assuming.
And there was also my teenage years, and like
Yeah.
I was fucking around in my teenage years where it's like my favorite thing was like being in high school, and it's like I was at parties with like older college chicks, and that was really fun. You know, it's like, but it's like at the same time, it's just.
So what, when you were 15, 16, you were fucking 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds?
Sure.
Okay, I don't mean to be too prying. I'm just curious.
But then at the same time, when I was like 18 and 19, I was also fucking like 15 and 16-year-olds. But that's because like I was literally like a year out of the same high school that they went to and shit. It's like we still have the same friends. I guess that was technically illegal. I'll admit it, you know.
Yeah, I don't care.
But straight up, like, you know, as soon as I hit like, what was it, like 20, I was like, there was no way I could still. As soon as I was old enough to drink, there was no way I could be with a girl who was not old enough to drink. You
That's
know, like,
understandable.
As soon as I hit 21, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be with a girl who I can't take to a bar. Like, it's not going to happen. Especially because by then, like, a couple of girls already took me to bars when I wasn't able to go to bars. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to, you know. Also, you just felt irresponsible as like a 21-year-old guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna take this high school girl into. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's like,
yeah, it's very true.
You know, like I was like, that doesn't sound right. And you know, even as a 21-year-old, I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound good. Also, it's like, you know, from the ages of like 14 to like 25, I was hanging out with the same people for like years and years and years, you know, and we were all like the same age anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't doing stuff in my teenage years in person. I was entirely online until my early 20s.
Yeah. But nowadays, it's like there would be no shot of me getting with anyone even in college, because like I look at college people and I'm like, you're like aliens to me, and I'm probably like a monster to you, you know, like
you're just unk.
What?
You're just unk.
Maybe, yeah, I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Energy.
Yeah.
It's fine by me. It's all good. I mean,
Uncle Energy sounds like a bald, really stimmed out guy in indeterminate middle age at a rave who's not hitting on anyone, and he has a great vibe, but he's still an odd character.
I'm thinking of a guy like in the CIA who says to his family that he sells cars.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's like in Venezuela, like killing people that he shouldn't be killing, in as far as geopolitical law is concerned.
Yeah.
If Terrorisk was ever approached with an offer from the feds to push their narrative for like tens of thousands of dollars. Should we take it?
Yeah, probably.
Probably be pretty fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'll just do the most retarded way of pushing it and just collect the paycheck.
Just like
they would
basically-
they would cut funding very quickly, but we get like 1 or 2 paychecks to sell
I think
out.
we should if like the spooks ever approached us, we should treat it how Cumtown treated like hymns. Or,
Yeah.
or
Here's an
Bluetooths.
endorsement for the FBI or for the CIA.
It's like, listen, do you know a terrorist in your life, like some Venezuelan who seems to be doing like shady things? Well, here's what you should do. You should call us and then trust us to call the feds and tell us every detail, and we will provide that information to the proper authorities. And also, you should get Blue Chews. Fuck the hymns. Stick with Blue Chews.
Well, Blue Chew is what Cumtown was showing, but yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing on time?
We're doing good.
Nice.
Got a few minutes left. Actually, it's also only 10. It's 9:53.
Yeah. Damn. Daylight saving time kicking
No,
in.
that's not what it is. It's because we got so efficient in our shit. Like
That's true. Efficient.
We eat. We come in. We got the format. We do our shit. It's it. Like we probably have time to do another activity if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I could take you to shoot pool. Well, probably we're too drunk for that.
I think we're too drunk for it as a thing off. 1 bottle we would have been fine, but 2 is too many.
Yeah,
we had
bottle-
1 we could go shoot pool.
No, I would rather have 2 bottles for the podcast. I would rather do pool at a different dedicated day. But I've been meaning to get back to the pool tables because I'm not going to let that go. I have to get better at pool. I mean, wouldn't that be a good like piece of lore? It's like I start winning like local tournaments. I could do martial arts. I could do pool. All right, like. And I would love to be good at pool, you know? Chick stick pool.
Yeah. I really like the idea of going to jazz clubs, actually.
Yeah. Let's go to jazz clubs, shoot some
Let's
pool.
get high before going into the jazz club. We go in, we chill out, we listen to music.
What we should do is we should shoot pool earlier, do some coke, and then go to the jazz club. We don't have to do coke, but I'm saying if they're
No, I agree, actually.
You probably like go and start talking to like these beautiful white women in cocktail dresses. I'm like, Carmen, what are you doing? He's like, oh, wow, you never met Cassandra? I just met her 5 minutes ago. She's great. Like you should.
I'm
talk
not
to
gonna
her.
find women in cocktail dresses in the jazz club usually.
No, you'll probably find some like bitch out of work, like just having a lunch break or a dinner break or supper break. You know what?
If I was single, I would approach like the frizzy-haired, bougie black woman that's at the jazz club and chat her up. It's probably what I would do because it's a demographic you can find at a jazz club.
But in a New York City jazz club, you're more likely to find like an Iranian, a Latina, some Haitian dude, all going to NYU, and they're like, yeah,
there's going to be a bunch of middle-aged Jews going to the jazz club.
I'm
That's like the predominant demographic of jazz club attendees.
They're not all going to be Jews. Some of them are going to
No.
be like. I think you're still going to have the odd person who's like, my grandfather had a place in Little Italy until I was like a teenager, and I grew up there, and she's like 45 years old. You're gonna have some of those.
That seems like a likely fit at a jazz club.
You'll also have the Jew. Yeah, you're right. You'll also have a lot of New Jacks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those jazz clubs rely on like New Jack talent. Like not even like Miles Davis.
It's going to be more male heavy. It's going to have that like nerd demographic kind of quality. The music is going to lean a little bit more male.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Because all the male-dominated shit is all mainstream. Jazz is not mainstream. And also, it's not that I care about not being mainstream or for mainstream. It's just I want to explore jazz. I think jazz calls to me for some odd reason. I want to understand it better.
How recently did this start? Your jazz interest?
Since I was into like math rock.
You should come through my bar on a jazz night.
Yeah, I will. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think you'd really dig it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely down. You know, instead of cracking, you should think more about stretching.
Yeah.
Stretch your legs more than your arms. Try to figure out how to do splits.
That actually is a good idea because I am someone who's always had natural inclination for this. I just never properly pursued it.
Yeah, do feet first, legs first, then do arm shit. But like legs are more fundamental to stretch. I think so anyway. From personal experience, you could say. But man, I can't wait to go to this jazz club. We'll be dressed up all nice and we'll have like very nice drinks. But before we should definitely shoot some pool. I'll pick you up in the afternoon sometime in Friday, and then we'll go shoot some pool and go to the Blue Note. You know, and then we'll see what's up. We'll see what's good. We'll see what it's like. And you know what? You know what I'm excited about?
What?
If it's like dead, and I think it's like if we do it maybe like a few Friday nights in a row and it's always dead, that means we could do whatever we want there. That means we could make our own scene. We could be like, yo, come with us. There's like no one there. Like
Usually the way it works at the jazz club is because a lot of jazz fans are like sober alcoholics and they won't buy alcohol, you have to pay a cover. The cover's like $10 usually.
I don't give a shit about that.
No, I'm just saying, or for anyone out listening.
I'll literally put $50 down just so 5 of my friends could come in for free.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, in that case, there's a lot to that be done there. Yeah, you're right. And it's designed so you can like chill out there. It should actually make a comeback.
Yeah.
Everyone vapes now, or a lot of people vape. Young people do. If you find a jazz club where you can kind of do that the way you used to smoke indoors, it would really add to.
What we should do is we should go to the I'm pretty sure there's a billiards place right by the jazz club.
Have you been to Funny Bar?
Funny Moms?
Funny Bar.
No.
It's in like the Lower East Side. It's actually pretty chill. It's like a late night jazz bar dive. It must be a former restaurant or something. They have gigantic tables with tablecloths and crayons they provide for you to draw on the tablecloths. But they'll have like jazz until like 2 a.m. on the weekends.
That's pretty chill, yeah.
And it's early 20s oriented a bar. All the jazz musicians are jazz students, but they have guys that will be playing until 2 or even 4 a.m. It's just guys in their early 20s.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's check it out. I think it's nice. I think it'll be a good fucking time.
No, actually, it is actually a means of entertainment that should come back
because it's got the right avenues for everything. It's like a cafe, but with booze.
Yeah.
It's better than a bar. It's better than a club.
Because of the cover thing, you can like go outside, drink liquor you buy outside. They won't check your bags. You go back in, you chill out.
Exactly.
It's really good for winter too, because it's going to be a very warm environment inside the club.
Yep. We're just there. We're drinking. We're chilling. I got it.
Wait.
That should work.
Well, I'm not totally incompetent with this. I narcissistically focused it on me, but yes.
I'm just excited.
Actually, this is a great angle. I like this angle a lot more. I'm foregrounded.
I'm just excited for the jazz club. All right, we should go. We should shoot some billiards. Go to a jazz club. You know what I want to get? I want to get a record player.
You have the space for it, and you're big into acoustics and music anyway. You should turn this into a listening room. Like you have this space, this large private space out on an island, but you don't do anything with it to turn into a really cozy environment that you've talked about before.
I work out in this space.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to get is a better couch and maybe some beanbag chairs.
Yeah.
But I will set up a record player station. That would be nice.
Would you move your bikes to your bedroom?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You should anything that make this your entertaining room, your bedroom private space. Make your bedroom more of a I don't know. You actually have a really great like setup here with your 3 different tables, your battle station set up, and the 4 different monitors.
Yeah. I work here.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all it is. And I do like browsing the internet on this better than my phone.
Well, naturally, yeah.
I learned a lot. This is kind of like my connection to the Akashic records, you know?
Yeah, it really is. The internet. Yeah, the internet is the Akashic records.
Yeah. The better the connection to the Akashic records, the better your extraction will be.
Mm-hmm.
The collective consciousness.
Mm.
I mean, seriously, like I don't make things better just from like doing what other people tell me. I make things better just from doing the stuff that we all know that we have to do. Get plenty of sleep, eat right, treat people good, fucking, try to be better. I still disagree with that bitch, okay? She said that I told her to kill herself. I was like, no. All right, I just said that no one has to be alive.
Yeah.
Which is
it really lingers with you, though, as an interaction, it seems like.
Yeah, because she's the first one to actually, react negatively to the statement. But the reason why I think it's significant is I don't think they're going to be the last. I think a lot more people in the world we're going to live in, as information travels faster, we're going to start considering, like, it's our whole worldviews that are going to, like, really affect our futures than anything material.
Yeah.
What if everyone got checks for like $10,000 a month? Then
well, we already saw an example or a prelude of this during COVID. A bunch of people kind of flamed out, but also everyone was locked down.
Yeah, so if you actually saw an instance where no one was locked down and everyone got universal basic income,
I think if you give people like. You should have like a government PSA explaining things you can do or good ideas you could do, like moving to.
That's not going to work.
No, I wouldn't know it won't work, but it would be better than.
Some people are literally going to jerk themselves off to death.
A lot of people will actually. We already saw that with COVID.
I'm serious. Like, people are literally going to just buy, like, they're going to invest into like fuckable fleshlight robots, and that's their whole life. And you're never going to hear from them again. They might as well be dead. And some people are going to probably cure cancer and shit, like.
Yeah, you have a great splitting of talent. A bunch of people just basically self-euthanize or self-sterilize, and then you have like, a bunch of ubermenches arise.
You're going to have very intelligent and stupid people doing terrible things.
At the same time.
Intelligent and stupid people doing great things.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I actually I'm excited by the idea. It's what Zarathustra predicted.
Mm.
But I don't know. I prefer Jung over Nietzsche. Jung was
well, he's the biggest influence on you, and it makes a lot. It seems like he's the biggest influence on you.
I never read a single book. Well, I've read a lot of portions of
excerpts.
Books. But the thing with Jung is,
you should get the red book. I think you would really appreciate it.
But the thing about Jung is, like, I never really read a full book, but everything I read by him quoted accurately, I've always resonated with. There's never like a real Jung quote, not like AI slop, but like a real Jung quote that I've read. I've always agreed with it. I've never read a single thing he's written where I was like, this is just stupid. No, it's like. But I also think, like, I don't know. I mean, Jung doesn't prepare us for certain things, despite the fact that he always speaks truth. Like Nietzsche will prepare you for things that aren't always true, but that Jung couldn't possibly account for,
Yeah.
because Nietzsche had more faith in certain concepts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ubermensch thing is very fascinating because for me specifically, personally, I should say, because I feel it, but it's not like I would ever, even if like God Himself came before me and said, "You are an Ubermensch," I would never identify as such a thing.
Yeah, it feels very self-defeating to do so.
It's like I
So
feel like
silly.
even
It's
Nietzsche
frankly
would say, it's
still
like if
so
you are the
silly.
Ubermensch, you would never call yourself the Ubermensch. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of like a moot point. It's still interesting to read about, and it's still good to strive for, I think. And if you do a good job at striving for it, then it is what it is. But it's like no one should probably refer to themselves as such. You know, it's a good fleshing out of a pattern.
Mm.
But you know, different cultures have
Do you get tired on wine? The thing that deters me from wine is that it makes me very sleepy a lot of the time.
No, I think it's just because I'm just like generally very energetic. So anything
I'm
that-
very energetic generally. I'm generally very energetic too. But for whatever reason, I think maybe it's just lack of use of drinking wine, or maybe it's not drinking the right wines. I think the reason why I avoid it as a means of alcohol consumption is I find it too sleepy.
Well, put it this way, like
Mhm.
I have a lot of stillness in my life right now. You know, like despite the fact that I have my obligations with the dojo, with my social circles, with the podcast, and with all sorts of things, even music, with myself and my own endeavors. It's just, despite all that, it's it's very simple shit. You know, it's not like I'm living a chaotic lifestyle where it's like there's always something random that's taking up all my energy and attention. You know, so that being said, even if I drink a bottle of wine, this is why I've gotten to like wine. I drink a bottle of wine, I'm like, this mellows me out. It doesn't knock me, it doesn't KO me.
Another thing is that my parents tried to get me to drink wine as a child, as like a French cultural affectation, and I hated the taste of it. So I think I just have like a natural aversion to it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't think you should try to put wine in your kid. I
Pushed it too heavily, but I was offered it often enough.
I mean, my dad didn't even. I can never say. I can never think of a time when I drank wine with my dad. I don't think I've ever drank wine with my dad. I don't think I've ever drank wine with any of my family members. Wine. My recent exploration of wine is purely spontaneous.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it had to do with just not eating meat. Like being off meat, I think that's really...
It changes your palate.
Yeah. I really, 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 really think it does.
Do you like cheese as a whole? Are you big into cheese?
Yeah, I still eat cheese.
I love cheese, and I love the variety
I've always
of cheeses.
loved cheese. I still love cheese, yeah. I still eat fish. I love fish. But it's just like red meat is kind of like something that I'm almost like...
We should have more fish. We should explore seafood more thoroughly.
Yeah, I'm down with like baking salmon more. I like baked salmon a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan.
Salmon's delightful, actually. I love... Yeah, I don't care. Any firm fleshed fish I'm very fond of.
Yeah.
I love to cook tuna.
I like raw tuna.
Yeah.
Salmon, I mean, I know a lot of people like salmon raw, like with sushi, but I really like cooked salmon.
Well, it's so fatty or so flaky. It's really delightful.
I also like fried mackerel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a fan of fish. It's just like, I don't know. I appreciate all life. It's just I don't think fish store as much complex.
It's a far more alien, far dumber animal than a mammal, like
Yeah.
a cow.
Yeah, it's not like eating a dolphin.
A chicken's easier to eat than a cow or a pig.
Yeah.
Pigs are very intelligent. It's getting very close to eating a human.
Yeah. So I can't. It's not that I can't eat. Like if my dad was like, "You better eat this like sausage," you know, like your stepmom like prepared it for you and all that shit, I'll be like, "Fine, You know, like I wouldn't say no to that because it's like that already negates the thing. And also, every time, you know what, this couple mornings ago, the first time I ate meat in a while was I met my friend, my Korean friend. He's a mechanic, and we met at this Korean bakery, Paris Baguette. You know the Korean.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
South
yeah.
Korean. Yeah, franchise.
Yeah. So we went there and we met up, and by then I was like, I already woke. Like that was a night where I went to sleep at like 8 p.m. because I day drank. I woke up at 3 a.m. Couldn't go to sleep. He hit me up at 5:30. He's like, "You want to meet up at like 6 at this cafe just to have coffee and talk cars?" I was like, "All right." So we meet up, and as soon as I walked in, I was still in like this weird, what's the word? Circadian state.
Yeah.
My
Circadian rhythm.
yeah, my circadian state at the time was already fucked up. So as soon as I walked in, I was like already driving. I was like, I'm gonna get some breakfast. I'm gonna get some kind of bun or whatever. So I go in and I picked out like this beautiful looking like South Korean style like hot dog pastries thing, and I had to get it and I got it. And by the time I paid for it, I realized like, what am I doing? I just bought red meat. So like before I ate it, like I like I did like
Made a prayer. You did,
I did a prayer.
Yeah.
And I realized the prayer was literally just saying like thanking the animal, like thank you for giving your flesh to me. And like the minute I did that, like I was picturing like being a pig in a pasture and like getting like a bolt fucking shot through my head and it's like getting processed in the meat. And like with that little piece of that animal, I was like, you know what? Thank you so much. And I ate it. And I'm glad I did that process. And the whole time I did that, it took just long enough for my friend who was with me. He was like paying for like stuff for his like wife who just had a baby, and he bought her coffee, bought her but thing. While he was paying, I was like doing this ritual. I was like, thank you. And by the time he was done paying, I just like started scarfing the whole thing down. Like almost all tears almost came out. I was like, thank you, pig, for giving your fucking body to me. At the very least, I can say like I take eating meat very seriously now. Like I really, really do. Like very serious. I'm not above it. I'm not above it. If I have to eat meat, I'll eat meat. But like, I take it.
It's far more considered, far more thoughtful about your interaction.
I can't deny it. Like I'm like, dude, this is a serious thing. It's like, it's almost like we were like crashed in a plane over the Himalayan mountains, and you were like, Chris, the only like my internal organs are busted. The only way either one of us will survive is if you eat me.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm like, no, I can't do that. And you're like, you must. I'm gonna die soon.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm just like eat every inch or every part of me except my cock.
That's how save that. Like put that in a vial of formaldehyde. Yeah. No, but that's how seriously I take it. I'm like, I can't. You know, like I can't just treat this as like eating like popcorn. Like no, this is like the fucking. I think that's a good thing. I think I don't regret it, you know? The shift in perspective. I'm like, I have to treat it this way.
Cannibalism was very common throughout history.
Yeah, like Ben Shapiro's people, the Khazarians, they like to eat people. I don't know if that's true. Please don't.
Also, he's not Khazarian, and also they were not known for cannibalism in particular.
The Khazarians were at least known for being vampires.
It's just a steppe tribe that, like, some members of them mass converted to Judaism in the Middle Ages.
I got a
but
question.
most European Jews are not descended from Khazarians. Why?
I got a question for you that you might know of.
Okay.
You know Vlad the Impaler?
Yeah.
What was his, like, ethno...
Like Romanian, Wallach. He's like Wallachian, I think, was the ethnic group at the time.
Really?
Yeah, that's the name of it. There in Wallachia was his province, which is now in Romania. It's like a Balkans group that is no longer as prominent, but once was. What was his whole deal, or his ethnicity, or what?
Were they Northern European?
No, they're Southern Slavs.
Where do Southern Slavs come from, really?
Like Russia. They're basically Russians who moved south until they got to the Balkans.
So Russians are like when you tell Aryans like stop, you've gone too far, and they're the Aryans that were like, no, we're gonna keep going. Those are like,
it's the original origin population actually of Aryans, but
yeah, Interesting.
This immigration happened in like 500 AD. Was the Slavic migration into southeastern Europe. Um, yeah, so like everywhere, like all the Balkans, all like Greece, Romania, Bulgaria, big parts of Turkey, you should think of it as being a subtype of Eastern European. Southeastern Europeans are still very much Eastern Europeans, if that makes sense.
I think on a personal level, it's just the question is how much do I want to reject or embrace my steppe heritage?
You should embrace it as much as possible because it's so
No.
cool.
I
No,
want
you should start riding around a horse and abducting women to rape.
I want to embrace more of how like the steppists kind of mastered the material world while
Yeah, step in the name of love.
But then
R.
it wasn't
Kelly.
just that though. It wasn't just all about the rape and the warfare. The steppe also produced like monks, like Tibetan monks and shit.
Yeah, it does on the Tibetan plateau.
And I think I identify more with that. It's like if you
you
take
ever
away
go to a Tibetan Buddhist temple, Chris?
in Tibet, I've never been to.
No, a Tibetan Buddhist, like a
Oh, yeah.
Bon Buddhist.
When I was in Thailand, I went to a Tibetan Buddhist delineation style temple, but it
Oh,
wasn't.
cool.
But there was no crazy Tibetan archaeology involved. It was literally just.
When were you in Thailand?
I mean, geography, architecture involved. Well, I was in Thailand when I was in 11. My grandmother went on a missionary trip throughout different countries in Asia, and she dragged me along. I went to Thailand, Japan, and then to parts of China, Hong Kong, and then China, and then Korea.
Hmm.
And that was a good trip. It was a fun
Yeah.
trip. I almost died in that trip because in Thailand, like my legs just got fucked up by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So I almost got like malaria, but
Really?
I miraculously did not get malaria, so I survived Thailand.
Sick.
I want to go back to Thailand.
It'd be cool to go back for you to go back, for me to go at all, because I've never traveled abroad.
If I went to
It'd be a real
Thailand,
loss,
if you and me
like
went to
this.
Thailand, the lady boys would be like all over us. They'd be like,
That's very true.
"Who are these American men that that are just eccentric? We gotta try to get their money." And the lady boys are gonna try to get us to fuck their booties.
Yeah, very true.
I feel like I have a couple of friends who'd be like, "Hell yeah, man!" Like
Yeah, the real trash chasers. How are you doing, man?
on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're. Hold on, we're at. Yeah, we're about at the time I would say. So we could start closing up, but
I know, forgive me, I'm fading fast and I'm a bit peckish, but go on.
you're hungry.
Yeah, I'll just finish what I have left over.
All right. So what I'm gonna say is, if you had to choose between a Balkan ladyboy and a Thai ladyboy, who would you choose?
I guess a Balkan lady boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some Croatian teenage boy would be a fine pederast. Yeah.
If you had to choose between being turned into a ladyboy and being forced to serve an oil sheik or an African warlord.
I'd rather serve an African warlord
Hell
than
yeah.
turn into a lady boy. I would hate that. I'd rather die very quickly in the other circumstances.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you all.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Have a good night.
Peace out.